It's time for midweek college baseball. We're all in for a treat tonight on the SEC Network. It's Texas versus Texas A&M. They teach them young here, don't they? The question is, who will hold the flag at the end of tonight? Alongside Ben McDonald, I'm Sam Ravitch. These two teams have battled it out for quite a while, but the last 2 years especially have been close games, one-run games, in fact. Here's Michael Barish in 2016, the walk-off home run to give the Aggies a 5-4 win. Flash forward about a year after some scuffling, 2017, Texas A&M got the tying run to third in the top of the ninth, couldn't get that run across the plate, and they would fall 4-3 to the Longhorns. Take a look at this series history, Ben. Number 19, Texas A&M coming into today at Olsen Field. They're going to host Texas' 369th meeting. They teach them young. You're born an Aggie fan or you're born a Longhorn. There's really no two other ways about it.
That's right. I tell you, these two teams don't get to play each other that often anymore, so when they do, it seems it's always special. Most of the players on each one of these rosters were actually recruited by the other program. They know each other from Little League. The players know each other from high school, but now they get to tee it up for all the marbles and bragging rights.
Here are the two coaches for these two teams. David Pierce now in his second full season at the helm, and then Rob Childress, a very familiar face to the Aggies. Here's the Texas Longhorns batting order. Take a look at the top of this order, and Cody Clemens, the second baseman for this team, has been fantastic. We are right underway now. The first pitch is a little bit outside for a ball. Chandler Josewalk is the freshman starter for this Aggie team. Ben, what can we take from Chandler Josewalk here tonight? Two freshmen on the mound for these two teams.
Yeah, two big starts for each one of these guys. Josewalk's a strike thrower. If you look at his numbers on the year, 29 innings pitched, only 8 walks, 32 strikeouts, so 4-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio.
2-0, that's in there for a strike one. You were mentioning it, the freshman out of Brenham, Texas. He's got a 2-1 count to start it off here. A little bit high, and it's 3-1.
Yeah, he's a fast worker. I tell you, fastball is 88 to 91. He'll throw you a changeup, 2 different breaking balls, but the slider is the difference maker. When it's on, he can rack up the strikeouts.
That's a leadoff walk for Tate Shaw as he'll jog on down to first. That'll bring up Mason Hibbler. This Aggie team has been pretty much unstoppable in the first inning. As Mason Hibbler will step in out in left field today. Hibbler, a junior infielder for this team, playing outfield today. Square to bunt, a little bit inside for ball one.
Yeah, you can see Josewalk just a little bit shaken up right now. This is probably the biggest game he's ever pitched when it comes to college games. And I tell you what, the first innings for starting pitchers, to me, are always the toughest ones because what you warm up with in the bullpen doesn't necessarily translate to the game mound. You get a batter that steps in the box, there's a whole different adrenaline flow. And Josewalk's a guy that normally throws a lot of strikes, but you can see right now, Rob Childress out to have a little talk. He says, hey, calm down. Let's get back to doing the things that made you successful this year, throwing strike one. And that's what he's got to get back to doing.
We were saying A&M has had some success in the first inning. They have not allowed a run in the first inning in the last 13 games. So they're used to getting out there, getting the first guy out. Now they work a walk. A little unfamiliar territory for Josewalk and the Aggies right here.
Well, you think of Texas A&M and Rob Childress, you think pitching. Rob Childress has a pitching background. That's what he does, and boy, does he do it well. His teams are always in the top 4 or 5 in the SEC when it comes to pitching and overall ERA. That's where they sit again this year at number 2. So not a whole lot of weak spots you can poke holes in when it comes to the Aggie pitching staff.
A 2.79 ERA. That ranks them second in the SEC. 1-0 to Hibbler. Just misses a little low there. It's a good spot, though.
Yeah, that's a pretty good pitch. That's where you're taught to throw the fastball right down at the bottom of the knees. Home plate umpire Christopher Griffith didn't see it as a strike, though.
Hibbler batting .286 on the year, has started every single game for the Longhorns this year. They have a couple of players who will do that. He'll square to bunt once again. Pulls it back, and a called strike. And Josewalk gets an applause from the 12th man, who is in full force here today, by the way. It's a beautiful day at Olsen Field. Josewalk, a long look at first. He'll throw. The bunt is up in the air, and it's caught by the first baseman, Coleman. That's a mistake right there for the Longhorns. Want to get that one down, don't you, Ben?
Oh, the little things. The little things are often the difference in ball games, and being able to get a bunt down. Of course, Hibbler didn't try to do that. You got to get to the top half of the baseball and get it on the ground. You can see this ball's elevated. That was probably his first mistake. That's a ball. You want to try to let that go, but you see it so good as a hitter, you think you can bunt it, and boy, he pops it up, and the first baseman, Coleman, comes in with a nice play.
So that'll help Josewalk out just a little bit. One out on the board, runner still at first. Here's the guy, Cody Clemens, you have to watch out for. Ben, this guy has not only been the anchor for this team, but he's also been a leader on and off the field, and we've seen what he can do on the field, can't we?
Yeah, I mean, he's the heart and soul of this Texas lineup for sure. Texas team, he's a leader out there, and boy, the numbers he has put up, 358, 9 homers, 32 RBIs, just outstanding for Cody Clemens.
He went 4 for 11 over the weekend against Baylor in that sweep. There you see those stats at the bottom line. He's one of the toughest guys to get out in all of college baseball. Never mind the Big 12.
Yeah, he swings it with a purpose. I mean, he's trying to hurt the baseball every chance he gets.
1-0, good pitch on the outside corner from Josewalk. Of course, the son of Roger Clemens, 11-time All-Star, 2-time World Series champ, 7-time Cy Young Award winner. And you were saying it yesterday, Ben, he's kind of been around this Longhorn team, of course, with his other son Casey coming through this program, but he's kind of always walking around talking to some of the pitchers, getting in their ear a little bit.
Yeah, and if I was a pitcher, I'd certainly be listening to Roger Clemens when he's around. You know, he talks pitching with a lot of the guys, and of course they pick up on some things too, so it's nice to have a guy like that hanging around your program for sure.
Josewalk's been looking over at Tate at first for quite a while now, and he'll go over there again.
Well, that's one thing Texas does do pretty well. They steal bases. Last year they stole bases. They're at it again this year. 43 stolen bases on the season for Texas. It's a big part of their offense. That's second best in the Big 12 Conference.
Clemens slaps that one foul as Tate was on the move for that pitch. So Josewalk had the right to look over there.
Yeah, it looks like Josewalk starting to settle in. The fastball ripping the outside corner now. Now you think he gets ahead. He goes back to that sweeping breaking ball because he's got a good slider.
Gets a quick look from Braden Shoemake to come in, say a couple of words to him, just calm him down a little bit.
Yeah, you see those shadows hanging out right there? That's awfully tough for a hitter. Ball coming out of the sunlight, going into the shade. You know, hitters, of course, hit off spin. Sometimes tough to pick up spin when it's coming from sunlight to shade.
1-2, grounded foul up the first base line. Also kind of wonder if that's a little bit tougher for Josewalk, too, just trying to find his spot. Of course, it's tough all around, I think.
Yeah, it could be. It could be, but still for the hitter, I think it's much tougher because, boy, it's just hard to pick up spin. They love to hit off a spin, and when vice versa, you could be, you know, home plate in the sunlight, the pitcher mound in the shade. Either way, it's tough.
Check over to first once again. We talked about this storied rivalry, and we'll continue to highlight it throughout this broadcast, but this is a game that these two teams and players look forward to all year. And now coming together right now in College Station. Another 1-2. Clemens chases. That's a good wipeout slider from Josewalk to get his first strikeout.
We talked about the slider being the best pitch for Josewalk. Gets ahead, bounces that breaking ball to third. Why is it so effective? Because he started the fastball. Those 2 strikes he got to Clemens early in the count. He started them in the exact same place. Looks like the same pitch, and then the bottom falls out. Big strikeout for Josewalk.
Tough guy to get out, too. Cody Clemens will take a seat. He'll make way for Zach Zubia, redshirt freshman from a guy who originally committed to Tulane. Well, Coach David Pierce was over there and then said, look, why don't you come over and play for Texas? And he was all about that, even though he was going to have to sit out a year.
Well, the sit-out worked out great for him because he had Tommy John surgery, so he's going to sit out for a year anyway. So he just transferred, sit out a year, got healthy, got bigger and stronger. And, boy, he's been a big part of this Texas lineup.
.292 average on the year, 6 home runs, 28 RBIs, .409 on-base percentage. He's kind of just picked it up like it's nobody's business. I mean, coming in as a freshman, and you sit out a year, that's tough to come back from an injury. Somewhat of a seamless transition for Zubia. 1-0. There's that slider again. Catches the inside corner for strike one.
You'll see 2 different breaking balls by Josewalk. You'll see one that's hard and tight like that one, and probably later on in the game he'll get to his second, which is more of a big looping type breaking ball. So it's 2 different breaking balls. But make no mistake about it, the best one and the one that he relies on when he gets in trouble and needs a big out is that hard, tight slider.
2 outs. Here's the 1-1. Grounded sharply over the third, just foul. And it'll be 1-2 to Zubia. 12th man is alive and well today. And they're hoping for a win. We mentioned it's been close the past 2 years, 1-run games. Josewalk comes set. And the 1-2. Check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did. 0-0 score, but who will hold the flag in the Lone Star State today? Texas goes down 1-2-3 essentially. And it'll be Texas A&M coming up to bat.
One moment can change a life. Intelligent technology can help protect it. The 2018 Audi Q5 is here.
With Regions Lock It, if my Regions credit, check card, or now prepaid card gets lost or stolen, I can totally lock my card for online, in-store, or ATM transactions. And unlocking is just as easy.
Open a Regions, checking, credit, or Now Card account with new Lock It.
0-0 score. The freshman Josewalk picks up 2 Ks to get out of a little bit of a jam, unusual situation, having a runner on base. Here is Texas A&M's batting order right now, and leading it off, nobody better than Michael Hellman.
No, I tell you what, he's been the igniter at the top of this lineup for Texas A&M. Continues to get on base. .402. Of course, that leads his team in batting average, one of the tops in the SEC, and he's an igniter at the top for the Aggies.
And then, of course, shortstop Brandon Shoemake was an All-American last year, was touted as one again this year. An impressive couple of years for a guy who came out as a freshman, now having to live up to those standards. You might say a little bit of a sophomore slump, but I wouldn't say so. Here's Nico O'Donnell, the other freshman pitcher for the Longhorns. There are 2 freshmen starting today. 186.3 out of San Antonio, Texas. What can you tell us about this guy, Ben?
Well, fastball's a good one. It's 88 to 92. He'll show you a 2-seamer and a 4-seamer as well. Pretty good breaking ball and changeup. The key for him is the commando. 18 walks and 25 and 2/3 innings pitch. When he throws strikes, he's pretty doggone good. When he walks guys, like a lot of guys, he gets in trouble. I think a key for him against this Aggie lineup is fastball is going to be one of the best pitches, but he needs to establish one of his off-speed pitches early to be effective.
O'Donnell has served as one of the many Tuesday starters for this Longhorn team, and he will face one of the toughest batters he'll have to face all season in Michael Hellman. Aggies have outscored opponents 33-3 in the first inning of games this year as Hellman swings to the first pitch, back up the middle. Hamilton fields and throws to first for the out. Now, that's a guy that's been impressive all season, David Hamilton at short.
Yeah, Hamilton made that look easy. That was a tough play.
Here is the look at the Texas defense. Cody Clemens, Hamilton right up the middle. They turn plenty of double plays. Ryan Reynolds is another guy to keep your eye on over at third base. We were talking with head coach David Pierce about that. He said Reynolds is one of the best third basemen that I've ever coached.
Well, defense, when you think of Texas, you think pitching and defense, and that defense is outstanding. Again, they're #1 defensive team. in the Big 12.
There is Reynolds over at third base, .978 fielding percentage. Clemens started the year over there, then moved over to second base. They felt more comfortable with him playing in that spot. There's Logan Foster, the sophomore out of Lincoln, Texas. A construction science major at A&M. O'Donnell trying to find the strike zone. And that nearly catches the cap of Foster, and he gives him a long stare down.
That just adds to it all. Of course, O'Donnell not trying to throw the ball up there. The ball gets away from him again. First inning jitters for him with a big crowd. This ball two-seamer running up and in, and boy, that'll wake you up.
Look out, Logan Foster.
That's one of them ones you can hear coming.
3-0 is right down the pike for strike one.
It's one thing to be sitting in there and you see it coming, but boy, when you can hear it coming, that brings it to a whole nother level.
.319 batting average. Nico is hearing it from the 12th man right now. Got him on a high fastball there. 86 miles an hour.
Well, for Texas A&M, the top third of this lineup has been outstanding. When you talk about Hellman and Foster and Shoemake, they've been really good. The question for A&M is, can they produce towards the bottom of the lineup? Because you feel quite comfortable with the top for sure.
Payoff on the way. Lined out into center field for a base hit. And Foster will get them on the board in the hits column. And you can see why they would be beating teams in the first inning quite handily. Especially at the top of the order, swinging the bats the way they have been.
Oh, yeah, I mean, Michael Hellman gets on, half the time. His on base percentage is nearly 500. Of course, then you got to face Foster and Shoemake, who was everybody's All-American last year. Got one of the sweetest strokes that you'll see in all of college baseball.
6'4", 190. He's been doing it all for the A&M team this year and last year. As a freshman, we mentioned it, All-American. You were mentioning the power is something that you were looking at for Shoemake this year that's missing a little bit from last year. 3 home runs this season.
Yeah, I want to say he hit 11. He was definitely a double-digit guy last year, so the home runs haven't showed up yet, but make no mistake about it, he's a guy, when he starts hitting them, he can hit them in bunches.
You can hear the Nico chants at Olsen Field right now. Misses outside there for ball 2. Anyone ever cheer your name, Ben? Anyone ever yelling McDonald in your ear?
Yeah, and a lot worse than that, too, at times. But, especially when you go to A&M, look, it's a great place to play. I mean, it's a challenge for a visiting team to go in there. It always is. But it's fun. I always look at it as a challenge.
3 balls, no strikes now to Shoemake.
You can tell Nico O'Donnell's, the command is not there as of yet. Just like if you think about Joe's walk, he struggled the first batter or two and he kind of got locked in. But O'Donnell's got a history this year, again, of walking some guys. So certainly something to keep an eye on. He's been all fastballs at this point. He's trying to establish the fastball.
6 balls, 4 strikes for O'Donnell to start off this game. And he's going to continue hearing this Nico chant for quite a while unless he can settle in. See if Shoemake has the go-ahead here on 3-0. Doesn't need it. Ball 4. This is right around the time you would start hearing, yep, here it is. That's got to mess with your head a little bit, Ben. I mean, my goodness.
Yeah, you don't like hearing that, but that doesn't concern me until it gets to like 7 or 8 or 9. Then I'm really concerned if I'm on the bump.
Here's Hunter Coleman. That's going to be ball 6.
Yeah, there's the first breaking ball. So you see O'Donnell trying something else.
There we go. We're already going to have a meeting on the mound here.
Yeah, I like this. I mean, it's time. Rob Childress had to go out in the first inning for his young freshman. You're going to see a visit here. This is just to kind of quieten the crowd a little bit, get him refocused on what he has to do. Maybe it's something mechanical that they're picking up. But more than anything, it's just to slow him down. The game can really speed up when you're a freshman, especially in the first inning in this type of environment.
Any sort of words of advice that you think we might be hearing right now in that visit?
I just think it's look, the game's fast right now. Let's slow it down. Let's get back to mechanics. Let's get, maybe he saw his front shoulder flying a little bit. Maybe his balance point wasn't so good. So coach out to give him a little talk, a little pep talk, just to quiet him down. I think deep down inside there, just hoping the crowd calms down a little bit too.
Right now, they're anything but calm. Count is 1-0 to Hunter Coleman. 8 of the last 11 pitches have been for balls. Four strikes. He's on number 7 right now. And that will stop the cheering, at least for the time being. He gets a little bit of a cheer. There are some Texas fans there. I think we should note that. A little bit of burnt orange at Olsen Field today. Runners on first and second base now.
There they are.
There you see the faithful Longhorns making the trek. Ground ball down the third base line. Why'd they stick him in the upper deck? That's not very nice.
Visiting team. That's where you got to go. I'm sorry, you're lucky to get in the ballpark.
Look at this. Longhorns don't get better seats than that. One section.
Standing room only. Below, see all the folks standing up.
2 balls, 2 strikes now to Coleman. Nico O'Donnell sure could use an out here.
If you're O'Donnell, you're just trying to stay down in the zone. He's shown me a good sink, good life to that 2-seam fastball. He'll try to create a ground ball double play if he can.
Left it up a little bit high and outside. That'll run the count full. Got to credit Hunter Coleman here too. He's kind of letting the crowd work for him a little bit in this at bat. What's he throwing here? 3-2.
Well, I mean, he's not throwing a breaking ball or a changeup for a strike yet, so you got to think he's coming with a fastball. Got to think it's going to be a 2-seamer, something down in the zone. And again, trying to get that ground ball double play.
High ball 4. That'll load him up.
You can see O'Donnell talking to himself a little bit. That's a lonely place on that bump right there when you can't throw a strike.
2 walks, and the bases are loaded after a single from Logan Foster. It's going to be Foster at third, Shoemake at second, and Coleman now at first. And here is Will Frizzell. Freshman on freshman matchup here. Ground ball back up the middle, it gets through. 1 run will score, and 2 will score. The Aggies take a 2-0 lead. Ball gets away, but we got more action here. Sloppy play, that moves Frizzell up to second. Here's the bubbles.
Will Frizzell, the freshman. First ball, fastball, Hunt gets one he can handle. I mean, just by a dive in Hamilton. And once that ball got out of the center field, no doubt the Aggies were going to be up 2-0. And right there, tips all off the glove of the first baseman, McKenzie. When it does, Frizzell was able to advance to second base. Now the Aggies second and third and still just one out.
That was, in fact, ruled an E2. So that'll be credited against Petrinsky. He'll go out, walk to the mound slowly. Have a word with O'Donnell. Here's another visit. Action in the bullpen. It'll be number 8, Cameron Fields, a right-hander, so it looks like this could be the end of the line for O'Donnell.
Yep, second trip.
That's going to be the end of the line for Nico O'Donnell. An unfortunate start to the game here. 2-0 Aggies lead with runners now on third and second base. So O'Donnell just did not have his stuff today, unfortunately for him. He will exit with 1 out in the bottom of the first inning. All right, let's take a look at a comparison of both these teams, and it goes back quite a while. 1895 and 1894. The wins are some of the best in baseball, especially for the Longhorns. But how about this? The last number there, Ben. 35 College World Series appearances for the Longhorns, 6 for the Aggies.
Yeah, that's an amazing number for Texas for sure. 6 national titles in those 35 College World Series appearances. Aggies made a trip last year to the College World Series in 2017.
Longhorns lead this series 238-125 with those 5 ties in there. All right, let's take a look at Cameron Fields now, starting to warm up a little bit. Unusual territory here for the freshman, 196.2 out of Garland, Texas. What are we going to see from Fields here? This is his 6th appearance.
Well, another good fastball. He'll be anywhere from 89 to 93, slider and a changeup. They love his ceiling. He's raw. They think he's got a lot of learning to do, and of course got to get better with his control and his command. You see the 6 walks and only 8 innings pitched, but you see the 8 strikeouts. So that tells me he's got really good stuff. The question is can he zero it in?
He's going to try to keep it from getting uglier here. 1 out, runners on second and third. This is, by the way, the 24th time scoring first in 33 games for the Aggies. 17th time in the first inning. And now it's 35-3. This is not how you wanted to start a game at Olsen Field, though. If you're a Texas Longhorn, this is tough.
Well, they've done everything they wanted to do. The Aggies did. I mean, they got their crowd involved right away for Texas. They didn't want to get the crowd involved, but it has not been the case. You always rely on your starting pitcher in that first inning, and it's always, for me, the toughest inning for a starting pitcher in that first inning. And you can clearly see Nico O'Donnell just never really got anything established. He showed a little bit of signs of throwing some strikes, but in the end, it was his walks that did him in. Base hit and 2 walks in a row that caused a big blow by Frizzell, a base hit up the middle that scored 2.
Cameron Fields is going to try to keep it at 2. It'll be a tall task. Here's Cole Bedford now, the catcher, up to bat. Junior out of Houston, Texas. Went 2 for 10 over the weekend against LSU. Aggies picking up their first SEC win over the weekend. First pitch from Fields in the dirt. .247 average with 7 RBIs so far this season for Bedford. Inside for ball 2. Check out those stats. 5 for 23 this season, 217 with 4 RBIs. So if you're Cameron Fields and you don't know these stats, You'd be trying to pitch a little more to the strike zone here.
Well, that's kind of been the story for the A&M offense this year. They're getting guys on base, but having trouble driving them in.
There's a ground ball back up the middle. That will get through. 1 run scores. Here comes another one. 4-0 Aggies. Just like that, this game has exploded in the face of the Longhorns.
Yeah, 2 ground balls as the bubbles continue to fly at Bluebell Park. Another fastball just right out over the plate, almost hitting the exact same spot as the last base hit by Frizzell.
There are those bubbles. They've been flying a lot in the first inning of games this season at Bluebell Park.
You know, we talked to Rob Childress, you know, and he said, listen, he said, winning our first SEC series really made us take a deep breath and relax a little bit. And you could tell coming out today, they just seem like a different team.
Now it's 37-3 as far as the Aggies' run differential in the first inning. Here's Zach DeLoach now, another freshman who's been stellar out in center field this year. DeLoach 292 on the year, 2 home runs, 17 RBIs. He's got some speed on the base paths as well. He leads the team with 5 triples. There's a called strike. And I saw this actually over the weekend, Ben. DeLoach spent most of this year at the leadoff spot, but has since dropped down a little bit, and he's found success at this spot. Maybe feels a little bit more comfortable.
Well, I think he blends in better down there. You know, you put a true freshman in leadoff spot in the SEC, that's a tough place to be. You know, better for a guy probably like Hellman. Hellman's a junior college transfer, sitting at the top now. And of course, Hellman's used to leading off. He led off in junior college, where he was a junior college player of the year last year, so probably a more comfortable position for him.
3-1, misses low for ball 4. That's now 3 walks in this inning. First one issued by Fields. Yeah, he's lucky that Hamilton did make that play to start this inning, or else it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah. You know, the balls have not been hit hard. It's just been ground, you know, kind of C&I grounders right through the middle, but it's always the walks. I mean, this is 3 walks in the inning now for Texas pitching.
They have been a little bit wild, but this is a little bit out of the ordinary. Pitch is fouled back by George Yancha, a junior out of Texas, Georgetown. Struggled this season a little bit with that batting average under the Mendoza line, but that's what you were saying. This bottom of the Aggies order is one of the key parts to success for this team.
Well, if they're going to make a run like they did last year, it's going to be because the second, you know, the bottom half of that lineup really got it going.
There's a good pitch. Gets Yancha out in front.
Because there's no doubt the top of this Aggie lineup is going to produce. It's produced all year. It produced last year. It's going to produce again this year. The question is, can they be consistent throughout? Because when you start talking about playoff teams, the teams that make deep runs in the NCAA tournaments, because they're getting production throughout the lineup.
Yancha batted .261 last year. Scored 40 runs with 9 doubles. Fields will step off and look back to second base. Right now, if you're the Longhorns, you're just trying to get out of this inning. Try to get your bats back up at the plate, but with 1 out, runners on first and second, got a little work to do. That's a good start right there.
Well, it's all about getting ahead. You know, the few times the Texas pitchers have gotten ahead, Fields gets ahead, fastball, then he throws a breaking ball. So now you expand the zone. Well, you expand the zone with an off-speed pitch. Looks like a fastball coming, looks like a strike. But it's all about getting ahead. If you can't get ahead, the hitter begins to shrink the strike zone on you. When you get ahead of the hitter, you put him on the defense as a pitcher, and now I can expand the zone, and that's exactly what Fields did.
Here's a relatively new face for the Aggies this season, Cam Blake. Playing in just his 3rd game of the season. Sophomore out of Round Rock.
Yeah, had some playing time last year as a freshman, was a part-time player, but got significant at-bats and been banged up a little bit this year and had a shoulder issue, but came in against LSU this past weekend, getting his first playing time of the season, and now he's getting a opportunity in a big midweek game for the Aggies.
Blake with an opportunity to blow this game wide open. They'll hold off that pitch in the dirt. Count even at 1-1 to Blake. Aggies out to an early 4-0 lead. That nearly hit him. Gets away from Petrinsky. Runners will advance. Bedford down to 3rd. Deloche up to 2nd. It's going to be ruled a wild pitch right there.
Tough for Petrinsky. You see where he's set up more middle of the plate. This ball is jerked about 2 feet on the inside part of the plate. When a pitcher's throwing, in the low 90s, that's an awfully tough get for a catcher. Petrinsky's been really good throwing this year. Struggled early, was 0 for 5, but boy, since then he's been mowing down opposing base runners.
So runners up to 2nd and 3rd now for Blake. A check swing, a little faint-hearted, fouled off though, no damage. Except for the count moving to 2-2. If Fields can get them out of this inning and keep it 4-0, that's not out of the question to come back even in the next inning.
No doubt, because this Longhorn offense has been much better than it was last year. It's putting up some runs, certainly doable.
Swing and a miss. There you go. Back-to-back strikeouts for Fields gets him out of the inning, but not before. The Aggies put up 4. Frizzell back up the middle. And then the next one from Bedford was also back up the middle. 4 runs would score. The Aggies take a 4-0 lead into the 2nd inning.
The lower. Oh, this is fun.
Yes, we're coming out of a 3-layer cake. Woo! For hosting this beautiful bridal shower for your friend, you deserve the sweet reward of a Diet Dr. Pepper.
That is sweet. Is that the entertainment?
Yeah!
Did someone call the cops?
No.
Should I go?
Yes.
But leave the boombox. Diet Dr. Pepper. It's the sweet one.
I think heroic deeds were all conceived in the open air. I think whatever I shall meet on the road I shall like. And whoever beholds me shall like me. I think whoever I see must be happy.
College baseball is brought to you by Pilot Flying J, the official travel center fueling the SEC. As you can see, 12th man in full force at Olsen Field today, and they have helped the Aggies out to a 4-0 lead as we head to the top of the 2nd inning. A beautiful day and a beautiful start to the game for the Aggies. Not so beautiful for Texas, however. Nico O'Donnell was able to just get 1 out, and then Cameron Fields came in to clean it up. Here's David Hamilton to start it off. Sophomore out of San Marcos, Texas, has been playing stellar defense for this Longhorn team.
No, he's a guy that can really run. You talk about 6'3", 6'4", 60 speed, leads them in stolen bases with 18. And you mentioned the defense from the shortstop position. Arm's been a little bit sore this year, but still continue to play. But I tell you what, he's as good as anybody with the glove.
3 straight balls out of the gate for Josewalk. This is one of those scenarios where you want to see your starter just get in the groove of things and keep it rolling.
Well, the term shutdown inning, you know, you hear it a lot. It's probably overplayed sometimes, but certainly in these situations, big ball game, your team just goes out, they throw a 4 spot up for you. The best thing you can do is fill the zone up and try to get that offense right back in there.
Hey, you get 4 runs, and then a 4-pitch walk coming out of the inning.
Because I'm going to tell you, there's not a better feeling to go pitch a shutout inning and sit down for about 15 minutes. Your team throws a big crooked number on the scoreboard.
We'll get to it later down the line, but this Aggie bullpen is a force to be reckoned with, I think, in the SEC, too. You don't want to get there this early on, but Coach Rob Childress has some weapons down there. Here's Ryan Reynolds, the third baseman, takes a called strike. Reynolds, another one out of Sugar Land, Texas. Josewalk set with the 0-1. Right down Broadway for strike 2. That's a good way to come back after a 4-pitch walk. Come back, get him 0-2. Reynolds was a big part of this team last year. Started 57 of 60 games. Earned honorable All Big 12 honors. He lays off that pitch there for ball 1.
Well, defensive at third base, he can play it. You mentioned Cody Clemens started over at third base, and Reynolds is over there now, and boy, that's really shored up their defense.
Reynolds' father played baseball for UT back in 1989. Drafted by I believe it was the Houston Astros in the 3rd round of the 1989 draft. That was the same year you were taken by the Orioles.
That's right.
Good draft year.
Long time ago.
His father went on to play 13 years in the big leagues. And the 1-2. Outside, ball 2.
Little backdoor breaking ball, just misses. Nice at bat going by Reynolds. Got down 0-2 early. A couple of balls pretty close. Didn't offer it. And if you're Texas, that's what you need. You need base runners. A few base runners and maybe get a base hit. Just kind of chip away at this lead. You don't expect to get all 4 of them back right away, but if you can just chip away, plenty of game left.
They got the lead runner on a 4-pitch walk. Here's a 2-2. Swung on and missed. 3rd strikeout of the day for Josewalk.
Yeah, one of the best fastballs we've seen from him. I tell you what, 2-2 count, still an unpredictable count. He just blows a fastball right by Reynolds on the outside corner. 2-2 count, that's the count you want to make it happen for a pitcher because it's still an unpredictable count. We go 3-2, we get predictable. Everybody knows fastball's coming. 2-2, still sitting on maybe a breaking ball, gets a fastball by him.
Now it's Jake McKenzie, one of the leaders for this Texas Longhorn team. We were talking with Coach Pierce on the phone yesterday, and he was saying that McKenzie is one of those guys that doesn't necessarily look like your prototypical first baseman, but man, he just does the little things right.
Well, he said he's a utility player, and he said, boy, he's found a home over for us at first base, and when he did, it made our defense that much better.
Jake McKenzie, senior out of Dallas, Texas, majoring in petroleum engineering.
Don't know anything about that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you.
No.
You didn't major in petroleum engineering?
No, when it comes to school stuff, don't ask me those questions.
Low and inside, 3-0. So Josewalk works a 4-pitch walk to David Hamilton.
Yeah, we mentioned Josewalk's command. I mean, only 8 walks coming in and 29 innings pitched. He's just right on the verge of walking his 3rd batter of this ball game.
There's a called strike right there. There it is, 17 walks, 14 strikes. Or excuse me, balls for strikes. This ball's popped up, shallow left field. Now moving over to center field. And Shoemake will call everybody off. The wind tends to blow a little bit once that ball is up above the stadium. Two outs now. And here's DJ Petrinsky, the catcher for this Longhorn team. Check on Hamilton over there. He hasn't tried to steal. You were saying it, you're trying to just get some base runners on board here.
Yeah, you hate to run yourself out of an inning right here, but Hamilton's your guy if you're going to try it. 18 stolen bases.
First pitch to Petrinsky. Fly down the right field line. That's going to get out of play. Hamilton was going on the pitch. DJ Petrinsky, 248 average, 3 home runs, 342 on base percentage. Josewalk lets that one slip a little bit. That seems to be a little bit of a problem for him early on. He's wiping his hand off on those pants right there.
Yeah, you wonder if he's having a, I don't know why he'd be having trouble gripping the baseball. Seems like a perfect day to pitch, just enough moisture.
Runner on first, here's the 1-1. There's a good pitch.
Yeah, that change-up. Probably the first change-up we've received, been mostly fastball and that hard, tight slider.
Petrinsky had himself a good weekend. Went 5 for 10 in that sweep against Baylor.
Looks like we got change-up coming again. Let's see if he can locate it a little bit better. Yep, good pitch. You can see the catcher, Bedford, when they wiggle their hands a little bit with a little wiggle, that's always the change-up sign. Not trying to trick anybody, nobody on second base, and nobody to steal a sign. So a lot of times you can get the center field view that we're seeing right now. You can tell what pitch is coming. 2 is normally the old breaking ball. We'll see.
Here's Josewalk. Fly down the right field line. This is going to be a tough play. Frizzell over towards the wall, and it just gets over him. Lands in foul territory, though. That could have been dangerous.
Those balls down the line have a tendency to come back. They seem to always come back towards the field. And that's one of those plays. Frizzell trying to get there awfully quick and just overran it.
Well, that would have helped.
Yeah, that's a play you hope you make. You know, your pitcher makes a pretty good pitch as a fastball up and away. Not hit very good. Stayed in foul ground. There, looks like changeup's coming now. Saw the wiggle of the fingers by Bedford. Been a pretty good pitch.
There it is right there. Great pitch. 4th strikeout of the day for Chandler Josewalk. There's Hellman right there. He's coming up to bat for the Aggies. Coming up next.
What's new?
We just switched to Geico and got more.
More?
Geico even helped us with homeowners insurance.
More sounds great.
Gotta love more! Right, honey?
Yeah!
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
Back in College Station here, the Golden Spikes Award mid-season watch list was just announced Tuesday afternoon. Ben, take a look at some of these guys. Tough to just pick a couple of them out, but yeah. How about Jonathan India? What he's been doing this year for Florida.
India's playing a game right now that not many others are familiar with. He's done it all for the Florida Gators. The defense is outstanding, and boy, offensively, remember he only hit 276 last year. He's hitting nearly 430. The homers are there, the RBIs as well.
You saw 3 Florida members on that watch list too.
Yep, Blaine Knight, the little engine that could over there at Arkansas, continues to knock off the big boys. He's knocked off 3 first-rounders in the SEC just this year alone.
Hellman lines one foul there. 0 for 1 with a ground out, but the Aggies had their bats going in the first. They put up 4. Had a little bit of a couple good bounces. They weren't hit all that hard back up the middle, those RBIs. Hellman swings and misses. He'll throw down to first to secure the out.
Well, you can see the difference when you get ahead. Unfortunately, O'Donnell could not get ahead of the Aggie hitters very often. Of course, he paid for it with some walks and some timely base hits. But boy, when you can get ahead and put the hitter on the defense, just like Fields has done a couple of times, gets ahead 2 strikes and look, bounces a breaking ball, just perfectly placed. And I don't care how hot Michael Hellman has been. You throw a breaking ball that has that kind of bite to it and downward action to it, you're going to miss a lot of bats.
There's another one to start off Logan Foster. See if Cameron Fields can get a little bit of a rhythm going for his Longhorns.
Well, that's going to be the key for Texas. I mean, the offense is good enough to catch up. The question is, can the pitching put up some zeros? Give that offense a chance.
Tough to do. Foster singled and then scored a run. Two balls, 1 strike to Logan Foster. Foster second on this team behind Hellman, batting .319. And he grounds one sharply over to short. Should be an easy play for Hamilton. It is. All right, so Mitchell Kilkenny on Saturday logged the league's only 9-inning complete game effort against a ranked opponent. 3-1 victory over number 20 LSU. Ben, what do we see from Kilkenny here?
Well, he's got a big fastball, and he sinks it when he wants to. And I tell you what, he spotted it on the inside part of the plate, strode his breaking ball and his changeup. He fielded his position. He goes 9 innings, 5 hits, only 1 earned run, 1 walk, and how about 4 strikeouts? And he's been your number 3 guy in that weekend rotation. Rob Childress told us he's going to shake up that weekend rotation a little bit. He's going to move Doc Atkins into that number 1 spot. Kilkenny will follow in the 2 spot from here on out.
He's on the midseason watch list. That is Kilkenny.
Well, you talk about he's 7-0. I mean, he's tied for the nation's lead in wins, 7-0. The ERA at 1.4, so deserving to be on that 40-man watch list for sure.
You see it right there, 7 wins, tied for first. What a year he's having. Fields way upstairs to Shoemake.
That's pretty good for your 3rd guy in your weekend rotation.
Not bad, huh? He'll take that any day of the week. There he is, enjoying the day, chopping it up with the boys.
Yeah, you have a start like that and life is good. Everything just kind of falls into place when you're 7-0 and you throw a shutout. That's when you kind of want to just take it all in, relax for a few days, and ready to get back on that bump this weekend.
Slow roller back to the mound. Fields has it. Nobody's covering first. And the race to first, not in time. Shoemake beats it with a head-first dive.
Well, outstanding hustle by Shoemake. I still want to see it in slow motion. Looked awfully close to me. Just a communication problem between the first baseman McKenzie and Fields. Here it is, and oh wow.
Did he touch it though?
He had to miss the bag. because the foot clearly got near the bag in time. But it's almost like Fields knew that he missed it. He drug. Did he see him try to drag? He tried to drag his left foot over the top of the bag.
I don't know if he got it. Discussion here, but that was awfully close. I think if he just reached out his left leg a little bit, might have got there before Shoemake got to the bag. But
yeah, you could tell he knew he was short of the bag, and he tried to drag the foot over the top, almost like a receiver in football trying to drag that foot and keep it in bounds. Watch him. He's going to be a little bit short with the left leg, and then watch him try to drag the toe over it. A little short there, and then watch the drag. Did he touch the top of the bag or not when he came across? Oh, I think he did.
That's a good look right there.
Watch the drag right on the top, right there. He's dragging the bag. Yes, sir.
I think he got him. Good effort, though, by Shoemake. Laying out for that one. Just a little bit miscommunication. Not everyone on the same page for Texas defensively right now.
Well, you got to remember McKenzie, the first baseman, not used to playing there. You know, he's been kind of an outfielder, more of a middle infielder, corner kind of guy. Doesn't have a lot of reps over at first base. He's been there a little bit this year, but still a position that he's learning. And just, you're right, communication issues. He went for the ball, and so did the pitcher, Fields, and nobody was left to cover first base.
Hunter Coleman walked and scored a run the last time he was up. He's now got no 2 count.
Yeah, 2 good pitches by Fields. First pitch breaking ball, what we call just a get-me-over type breaking ball, because A&M hitters clearly geared up for fastballs, and then spots a 4-seamer right on the outside corner to go up 0-2.
Hunter Coleman started the year, a pulled hamstring. Kept him out a little bit. Runner takes off down to second. Not in time. Oh, that's another close one right there.
Yeah, it looked like a tag was made maybe right in the face of Shoemake. And Shoemake might have gotten that hand in there before he was tagged in the face. Here it is, left hand going, and yep, there's a tag up high. I think he was safe. Shoemake will fool you. You know, at 6'4", 180 pounds, he's above average runner. You see the numbers on the year kind of prove it. 9 for 9 in stolen bases.
Catch me if you can for Shoemake this year. Ball gets away, but Petrinsky able to keep it there. Here's another look at that throw down to second.
Yeah, second baseman Clemens is covering the bag, and yep, he's safe. Clemens tried to sell it to the umpire, but nice call.
There's the Cameron chant from the faithful at Bluebell tonight. Good pitch there. So Cameron Fields able to limit the damage despite some miscommunication. Take a look at these strikeouts here.
Yeah, Cameron Fields since coming in 4 strikeouts, and boy, you can't do it a whole lot better than that. Nice breaking by Cameron Fields. Aggies up 4-0.
Let's say you're an industrial designer and you're ready for a change of scenery. You say, I'll design prosthetics to help critters like Yum Yum and Smokey and Kathy. She's a chatty one. Okay, never mind. So you check in with your JP Morgan private client advisor, Francesca, and together you create a personalized strategy. A few more years and you're finally able to leave that career for a calling. Right, Kathy? Unbelievable. See how this can give you access to the insights and expertise of JP Morgan.
I told her who's got 2 thumbs and saved hundreds with Geico. This guy.
You sound like a Geico commercial.
This is a Geico commercial. Geico. Look at Geico.
Sunday, we'll have the final game of the 3-game series between Tennessee and 24th-ranked LSU Tigers at Alex Box Stadium. Skip Bertman Field in Baton Rouge. 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 Central, right here on the SEC Network and live on the ESPN app. My man Ben McDonald is familiar with those games.
Yes, sir. Always good ones.
Here's Austin Todd getting his first at bat this evening. And he lines one sharply out to left center field. Excuse me, that gets down for a base hit. Good piece of hitting there from Todd. Take a look at these SEC standings as of right now. In the East, Florida with a 9-3 advantage, and Arkansas in the West. Two teams that are going to be tough to deal with coming down the stretch of the season.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the West from what I've seen so far, clearly Arkansas Ole Miss seems to be the class of the West. And Florida, you know, you can't poke any holes in what Florida's doing. Georgia's a surprise team at 8-4, so it's bunched up, but it's deeper than it's ever been. I mean, you had 10 teams ranked last week just alone in the SEC.
Georgia is currently on top of Clemson right now. They are leading 5-3. Tate Shaw walked his first at bat. Did not go anywhere else. Ole Miss has a lead over Southern Mississippi 4-0.
Yeah, boy, that Southern Miss team is a good team, too. In top 15 all year. Scott Berry does a wonderful job over at Southern Miss. They were just a pop-up away last year in a regional. Mississippi State hit a fly ball, and Southern Miss couldn't catch it, and Mississippi State advanced to a super.
Now it's 6-0. There's a big swing and a miss from Shaw. Texas, the leadoff batters, have gotten on base in all 3 innings. None have gotten to second base. Longhorns trying to find some groove in their offense right now. Squared a bunt, popped back off the plate. It's going to be foul.
Yeah, Jones Walk's not done well first batter of every inning, but boy, he seems to turn it up a notch or two as soon as runners get in the scoring position. 2 strikeouts in the first, a couple of strikeouts in the second.
Take a look at this bunt right here. That's
not how you do it. I mean, it's kind of caught almost in between of what you really want to do. If you're going to sacrifice, go ahead and square around for me. Get the bat out there and lay it down. Give yourself up.
2-2 outside. It almost looked there like Shaw was just playing defense with that ball. They always kind of tell you to get on offense.
He was not committed at all to laying that ball down.
Full count to Tate Shaw. And he lines one out into left center field. That's going to drop right in front of Foster. That'll move a runner up to second base. First time that the Longhorns have gotten a runner on second today.
See, Tate Shaw knew what he was doing. He was just telling head coach David Pierce, hey, I want to hit. I don't want to bunt. You got to think with Mason Hibbler coming up now, the bunt should be in order, especially with Cody Clemens, one of the hottest hitters in all Big 12 on the on-deck circle. See Jones Walk's numbers.
We can remember the last time that Hibbler was up at the plate, popped up that bunt. An unfortunate mistake for Hibbler trying to move the runner over. You go back to him here, you got to have confidence in him, right?
I think you do. I mean, you try to cut the lead down a little bit if you can. I think this is the right move to try to put one on the ground. I don't think they pitch around Cody Clemens to load the bases this early in the ball game. I like the way he's swinging it, and he's surely to get you at least one out of the deal.
Nobody out with runners on first and second.
Because Cameron Fields, the pitcher for Texas, the relief pitchers come in. He's done a nice job. So that's going to be the key to the comeback, is putting zeros on the scoreboard for the Longhorns.
He will square the bunt, and he will get it down. Only play for Joe Walk is to first, and he gets the out there. Does advance the runners now to second and third, so job well done on the sacrifice.
Yeah, Hibbler shows me something after popping that bunt up the first time. The last thing he wants to see going to plate is another bunt signal. Well, he gets it, executes it perfectly this time.
If you're the Longhorns, you want this guy at the plate right now. When you need some runs, Cody Clemens has been the guy to be able to bring them in. 32 RBIs on the year.
Yeah, struck out his last time on a breaking ball just down to see if he makes some adjustments on that.
Good pitch on the outside corner from Joe Zawalk. There are those numbers in runners in scoring position. 293, 3 home runs, 23 of his 32 RBIs. You saw Bedford set up way outside there to that pitch.
Well, that's how you can always tell. I mean, the numbers can be deceiving sometimes, but if you really want to know if a pitcher's on his game or not, just watch the catcher. Watch where Bedford sets up and watch how closely the ball is delivered to the glove.
Bedford outside once again. That ball's fouled back out of play. 1-2.
Yeah, you can see the spot missed a little bit right there. Kind of missed out over the plate, and clearly Joe Zawalk got away with one there. You know, I equate a lot of pitching to golfing, you know, in a lot of different ways. I mean, golf is not about your good shots all the time. It's about how bad your bad shots are. Well, pitching the same way. Not necessarily about your good pitches. Everybody makes some good pitches. It's how bad your bad pitches are.
That's a good pitch right there.
That's a good one. That's like knocking it to about 4 feet with your wedge right there.
5th strikeout of the night for Joe Zawalk. That's a huge out right there for you, Ben.
Yeah, I guess one of the best hitters in the Big 12. So he starts him off, just paints the outside corner with a fastball, goes up, out over the plate for ball 1. Another fastball on the outside part, and watch this. I mean, right to the glove and just dots the outside corner. Can't do it a whole lot better than that.
Bedford back out to the mound to have a conversation about what they're going to do now with Zach Zubia. And in fact, with Childress out there, wondering how many pitches is Joe Zawalk going to be allowed tonight. He's at 50 right now.
Well, but he's been good, though. You know, I mean, the first batter of every inning gets him in trouble. But, boy, once he gets to that point, it just seems like he grabs another gear, finds another level to go to. And I tell you what, he pitched Cody Clemens outstanding.
One of the toughest batters to face. Not only in the Big 12, but throughout college baseball. He gets an out there. He has previously struck out Zach Zubia. You see Stephen Kolick warming up on the right side. Double barrel action in the Aggie bullpen right now.
Yeah, the Kolick's been the Friday night guy for Texas A&M, and we heard from Rob Childress. He said he may use him in the bullpen, get him a little bit of work. Never really would name his number 3 starter for the weekend. You get the idea it may be Kolick again, but want him to get, you know, just get some work in out of the bullpen, get his confidence going. He hasn't pitched bad, but he hadn't been the guy they thought he would be.
Season high pitch mark for Joe Zawalk is 84. We mentioned he's at 50 right now.
Well, Joe Zawalk's a guy that's got some starting experience. I mean, he began the year for the Aggies in the starting rotation, and then he was replaced by Doc Zatkis about 3 weeks in.
2 outs, runners on second and third. There's that slider again, missing a little bit low. Zubia 0 for 1 with a strikeout tonight. Does have some power, 6 home runs on the season with 28 RBIs. Yeah, there's David Hamilton on deck. Looks like they're being pretty careful with the way that they're going to pitch to Zubia. Not going to give him anything good, Ben.
Well, I think that might have been the conversation from Rob Childress. Says, hey, this guy's got 6 home runs. Let's not make a mistake here. Let's keep everything down, maybe off the outside corner. If he doesn't get himself out, that's okay. We got a base open. I'm going to let you go to work on Hamilton.
There is head coach Rob Childress in his 13th season at the helm for the Aggies. Here's the 3-0. There's a good pitch. Zubia held back on the 3-0. Zubia could make a dent in this lead with one swing of the bat. We know that for sure.
Yeah, 6 homers on the year, 28 RBIs for the freshman, redshirt freshman.
Hitters count 3-1, and he'll leave it low for ball 4.
Yeah, Joe's walk didn't want to have much to do with Zubia.
So that'll load the bases with 2 outs. And the shortstop, David Hamilton, coming up to the plate. So you're going to have to pitch to Hamilton. Now, Hamilton, interestingly enough, is second on the team with 25 walks, right behind Cody Clemens. So he's going to make you throw something good. Good pitch right there.
Yeah, that's kind of been the fastball location for him, down and away to the left-handers. Inside the right-handers, that appears to be his most comfortable fastball. See what Hamilton's hit with runners in scoring position.
Hamilton does represent the tying run. That gets away from Bedford, not far enough though.
Yeah, that almost looked like a cross-up to me. I mean, the way Bedford's going out and talking now, because he received that like he thought something else was coming. He was lucky to keep it in front. Watch the reaction. Hops to the outside corner. Looks like looking fastball. You see that ball? It's a breaking ball that kind of ducks down, and he doesn't really even get a glove on it. It short hops and hits him right in the chest protector, and luckily for Texas A&M, it stays right in front of him.
Hamilton was named the inaugural Spike Owen Defensive Player of the Year following the 2017 season for the Longhorns. Oh, just missed in the outside corner.
Yeah, we've seen that pitch called a strike, but not this time. Well, now advantage Hamilton. He's got to be looking for a fastball out over the plate, and if he gets one, he ought to have a good swing at it.
There it is. He just missed that one. He's not happy with himself either.
Yeah, that's the one you got to get, because it's 2 balls and 1 strike, and bases are loaded. And you know he's going to throw you a fastball. And if you get one like that kind of up out over the plate, you want to put a barrel on it. He just missed it. Now we're back out of that predictable count. So Hamilton doesn't know if he's getting that breaking ball going off the outside corner or maybe the fastball.
Check swing, foul. That was ball 3 right there.
Yeah. One of the best fastballs we've seen from Joe's walk tonight. That was up to 90 miles an hour, kind of up and in.
Two balls, 2 strikes to Hamilton. Popped up. Should be easily playable for Shoemake. He's under it, and he does make the catch. So the Longhorns able to get the bases loaded, but can't do anything with it. Aggies up 4-0 as we head to the bottom of the 3rd.
Yeah, Joe's walk works him safe out of a big bases loaded situation. He says yes.
Live TV you love. No bulky hardware, no satellite, no annual contract. Try DirecTV now for $10 a month for 3 months. More for your thing. That's our thing.
Discover card. Hi, I'm just looking at my account and I've got all this extra cash back.
Yep, that's your cashback match. Only Discover will automatically match all the cash back new card members earn at the end of their first year.
You matched everything I earned this year?
Yeah.
Woo! More money, more money! Ah!
It's all very exciting.
I'm gonna spread the news.
Spread it wide.
It's Cashback Match, people!
You know that, you all work here.
New card members get a $1-for-$1 match at the end of their first year, only from Discover.
Friday, we'll be in Auburn for the 23rd ranked Tigers hosting Mississippi State Hitchcock Field at Plainsman Park, 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central. Right here on the SEC Network and live on the ESPN app. How about the pitching matchup in that one, huh, Ben?
Doesn't get a whole lot better than that. Big Connor Pilkington, the left-hander for State. He can really bring it. Big strikeout guy. And boy, Casey Mize, what can you say about him? Arguably the best pitcher in college baseball this year. 2 can't-miss first-rounders.
So Cameron Fields back out on the mound for some more work. And he'll face Will Frizzell. 1 for 1 so far today. He drove in a run. Frizzell, 6'5", freshman on this Aggie team.
Seems like Rob Childress always has a big physical bunch of players. They can run it out of the ballpark. Not hitting a ton of homers this year. They have in the last 3 or 4 years. They've been way up there in home runs. Not so much this year.
Well, Frizzell has been spectacular where Coach Childress has placed him at first base. 1 error in 85 total chances. That's pretty good for a freshman coming into SEC play. Hitters count. He drives one over the second baseman's head into right field. There's Frizzell once again. He's 2 for 2. All right, let's take a look at some of these SEC headlines. Broaden our scope a little bit. Florida remains #1 in the USA Today top 25. Ole Miss drops 2 of 3. They're number 4. Arkansas 5 spots to number 3 in the USA top 25. This is a group that you're going to see towards the end of this season.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, Ole Miss has been playing. That's their first series loss of the year for the Rebels, conference or non-conference. Mississippi State had not won a conference series going into the weekend. They knock off Ole Miss at home on a walk-off homer by Luke Alexander in Game 3.
Here's Cole Bedford, the catcher, also 1 for 1 today. It was interesting, Ben. You were talking about it yesterday, but when you look at teams, you kind of look at them like you look at players as far as 5-tool players. And then you said, well, that's a little bit of a mistake right there from Fields.
My goodness, huh?
And I was saying you were looking at players kind of like teams, where you look at a team as a 5-tool team. How many 5-tool teams do you see in the SEC right now?
Yeah, I mean, we hear a lot about 5-tool players, and there's not many of them around, but when you see one, it's special. I feel the same way about teams, and I talk about teams that can really hit for average, they can hit for home runs, the defense is good, of course, the pitching, everything makes them a 5-tool team. And from what I've seen so far in the SEC this year, Florida, you can't miss with them. I mean, they're hitting home runs, almost as many home runs this year, a little more than halfway through the season than what they had last year. The batting average is much better than it was, and we know they can pitch and play defense. But Ole Miss seems to fall in that category, too. I mean, pitching's outstanding. The defense is much improved. They're hitting home runs out of the ballpark, so I like a lot of what I see from them.
Bedford pops it up, throws the bat. Hamilton over behind second base to make the catch for out number 1.
Now you look at Arkansas. Of course, Arkansas's got the most homers in the SEC too, so they do a lot of things well too. But the one thing that kind of stands out for me with Arkansas, 2 things actually, they don't steal a lot of bases at the bottom of the league on that, and their defense for Arkansas needs to get a little bit better. When you talk about the 2 teams I mentioned in Ole Miss and Florida, they can do it all. I mean, the stolen bases are there, the home runs, everything we mentioned. They got 5 ways that they can beat you, because you know at some point during the season, you know, the pitching's going to be off for a stretch, or maybe the hitting is off. Well, how many other ways can you beat you? You know, and those teams can beat you 5 different ways.
Arkansas has a .971 fielding percentage. That's pretty good for an overall team. Here's Zach DeLoach. He worked a walk back in the first inning. A&M leads 4-0. They've done so on 5 hits. Josewalk, despite dealing out all these walks, has only allowed 2 hits. There's that stat right there. 20-4 this season when scoring 4 or more runs. Don't show that to any Longhorn fans.
That says your pitching's pretty good. When you see that number right there, that tells you one thing. Your pitching is good, especially the back end of your bullpen. You don't even have to know that.
Zach Deloche out of Hebron High School was a 4-year letter winner for Coach Steve Stone. He's got a runner in scoring position here, trying to tack on another one.
Oh, I like that pitch. You can see Pertinsky set up on the inside part of the plate, rocked in there, and that's exactly where that ball was delivered by Fields. Watch him rock inside. Says, give it to me right here, a four-seamer. And I tell you what, could have been called. It wasn't, but I like it. That does a lot. When you throw the fastball inside, it makes the hitter speed that bat up. When he thinks he's got to speed the bat up to get to the fastball in, it opens up the outside part of the plate.
Grounded over to first base, takes a strange hop. McKenzie will flip to Fields, and that's in time. It'll move the runner over Frizzell to third base. This was a strange hop that it took. Might have caught the lip of the infield. Tough to tell, but...
You'll watch McKenzie right there. A lot of top spin and probably hitting one of those divots, because that hit right in that kind of base path for runners run from first to second base. So probably hit what we call a divot, a little bit of a hole right there with top spin, and it shot up.
George Yancha now, the third baseman, struck out back in the first. A lines one out to center field, going to be playable for Shaw, and that will do it. Aggies able to get a runner on third base, but unable to bring that runner in. Coming up next, we're going to talk to David Pierce, head coach for the Longhorns.
So we swapped your car out for the all-new Chevy Traverse.
Yes.
Do you think it's going to surprise your daughter?
Absolutely.
Wait, is Mom here yet? Where's Mom? She's in this car. What the heck? Whoa. Yo, whose car is this?
This is the all-new Chevy Traverse.
This is beautiful.
It has Apple CarPlay compatibility. Do those apps look familiar?
Oh.
You want to hit this button? There's a hidden compartment.
Oh. Mom, when I'm older, can you buy me this car?
I want to buy me this car.
Fly me to the moon and let me play.
And we're back in College Station. 4-0 is the score. Aggies out to an early lead. Still plenty of time left to go. We're now joined by head coach David Pierce of the Longhorns. Coach, first off, thanks for joining us. A tough start to come into this stadium and not really be able to get out of that first inning with O'Donnell, but there's still a lot of baseball left to play, right?
Oh, there's no doubt. We could have helped ourselves if we got a couple the last inning, but we got to keep moving forward.
Well, Coach Cameron Fields, I tell you what, I mean, the key for your comeback tonight, if there is one, is him putting up zeros on the scoreboard. And I tell you what, he's done a nice job showing a good fastball and an outstanding breaking ball to go with it.
Yes, he did. He's going to be done after that. He's probably maxed out right there. He's had a good start, but he's that's about the max he's gone, is right at 50 pitches.
All right, thank you, Coach. We appreciate you taking the time with us today. We wish you guys the best of luck down the road of the season, of course.
Okay, thank you.
Stephen Kolick now in for the Aggies right now. So that's going to be the end of the day for freshman Joe Zawak. Overall, a pretty good start considering the circumstances. He walked 3, struck out 5 over 3 innings. He'll hand the ball off to Stephen Kolick. 8 appearances this year, 3.57 ERA. This was someone that Coach Childress said we were going to see most likely in this game, Ben.
Yeah, it's about getting some work in for him. Again, he's not been great, but he hadn't been bad either. You see the 3.57 ERA, almost a strikeout per inning.
First pitch is grounded over to second base. Close play, was able to get the out.
Remember, Kolick has been the Friday night guy, the guy that pitches first in your weekend rotation. And Texas A&M has struggled in game ones in the SEC. I don't think they've won a game in the first of the series, and that's what's kind of been a little bit of their problem this year. So he's going to move probably from that 1 spot is Kolek into that 3 spot in the weekend rotation. But the stuff's outstanding. I mean, you're going to see a fastball that's going to be 88, and he'll show you some mid-90s at times as well. A good breaking ball and changeup.
Came in and got the first out right there. Pretty simple. All right, so apparently we're being told there's some reflection issues. Maybe out by the batter's eye, possibly? Oh, the train's coming through.
The old 727 just on time. By the way, there in College Station, that train will come back by. It'll make a U-turn and come right back by really quick.
All right, so Kolek has had to wait a little bit after getting 1 pitch, 1 out.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out. The home plate umpire Christopher Griffith giving head coach David Pierce an explanation. I don't know if Coach Pierce is buying it or not.
He's not too happy right now. And oh, there you go. That does look like a bit of a reflection. I don't know if there's anything you can necessarily do about that, though, Ben. I mean,
no.
This is
we can't make the sun go away unless we sit around and wait for a while. But you know, as tall as Kolek is, you know, he's a big guy, so he's coming from way up top. But that's probably what it is. And you could almost hear it right there. Home plate umpire said we may have to stall it for a half an inning till the glare goes away.
There's Christopher Griffith, home plate umpire, having some words with head coach Rob Childress. You would think, after these many of games played at Bluebell Park,
yeah, this time of the day, this time of the year, that this would have been an issue before. But you can imagine, as tall as Kolek is, and you know, especially like if it was Sean Jelly from Kentucky, who's 6'11", if he'd be on the bump right now, it'd really be coming out off that glare. That batter's eye back there is supposed to get rid of that, but evidently not quite tall enough.
All right, so we're going to resume play after a reflection issue. First pitch from Kolek is outside. Jake McKenzie up at the plate. He's 0 for 1. Popped out back in the 2nd inning. High and tight. It's 2-0. And one thing head coach Rob Childress was telling us was that Kolek likes to move pretty quickly. He's in his own rhythm. He gets in it. And he's pretty quick to home plate. Fastball at 90 misses outside for ball 3. You were also saying it earlier, Ben, once you get down the stretch of this season, and keep in mind, this has flown by, I think you could say. Once you get down towards the end, you're going to need everybody in your bullpen. There are going to be pitchers pitching in roles they're not used to. Kolek a little bit unfamiliar here, but that's a good play right there. Line right to Yamcha. Snags it out of the air for out number 2.
Well, that shows you what kind of stuff Kolek has. Even in a fastball count, everybody knows it's coming. He's able to get in on the hands of McKenzie for a weak humpback liner. No, I mean, you're going to see your midweek guys. That's why your midweek guys are who they are right now. You get them some experience because you may have to lean on them in a regional or maybe at the back end of a conference tournament somewhere. So it's all about putting guys in situations to see if they can succeed or not, so you know when you get down and it really matters the most, maybe in a conference tournament that you have to win to go to postseason play, or maybe to get a few more RPI points to get a better seeding in the NCAA tournament, you can count on somebody.
Ball lined out to right field. Going back on it now, making the catch is Frizzell. Like we said, usually the first baseman out in right field for this Aggie team.
Frizzell did not look like a gazelle right there, but I tell you what, he got it done with a little bit of a leap right there.
Aggies up 4-0.
Alexa, cancel my 6 a.m. alarm.
6 a.m. alarm canceled.
Alexa, show me automatic cat feeders.
Okay. Alexa, show me the nursery. Okay.
Say dada. Dada. Say dada. Dada.
Ouch.
With Advil's fast relief, you'll ask, what pulled muscle? What headache? Nothing works faster to make pain a distant memory. Advil Liquid Gels and Advil Liquid Gels Minis. What pain?
That's going to be the end of the day for Cameron Fields. Now on the mound, Matteo Bocchi. He hails from Parma, Italy, and he learned how to pitch while watching the internet. Take a listen.
I started playing baseball when I was 6 with my classmate in my elementary school. Since we don't have high school or college sport, we start playing a club outside school just for fun. In Italy, baseball is more like a sport just to have fun. Like you go play with your friends. It's not famous at all. When I came here on visit, it was like I had no doubt that Texas was the best choice.
Matteo Bocchi. He will occasionally bring Parmesan cheese back with him whenever he comes to visit because he misses it so much. His first experience in the States was at Odessa College. Now, you can imagine coming over from Parma, Italy, and heading right over to Odessa, you're going to feel that West Texas heat. That's tough.
Just a little bit different. See the Italian flag on the fingers of his glove right there. Bocchi becomes the first Italian-born student athlete to ever play baseball at the University of Texas.
Now that's impressive. There's no way that was an easy trip. I'm sure there were many trials and tribulations for Matteo Bocchi, but man, he's in a Longhorn jersey and he's doing well.
Well, you mentioned the 2 years he got at Odessa College. That's where he said he really learned how to pitch and got familiar with it. Mentioned the size, 6'4". The fastball is good. You see the fastball at 90 miles an hour show you a breaking ball and a changeup as well. But that's a really cool story. I mean, watch the internet, learned how to pitch, mechanics, pitches and grips.
That's just crazy. That's crazy. 3-1 count to Cam Blake. Might also know the name. He threw a 9-inning shutout for Team Italy in its win over Czech Republic at the 2013 Under-18 World Cup. He played in the 2008 Little League World Series, represented the Italian squad there. Emilia Little League was the name of that team. Impressive story for Bocchi. He's got a full count now to Blake. And Blake grounds one sharply through the 4-hole and into right field. Leadoff single for Blake.
Boy, he's got some big hands. I mean, he almost hides that baseball in his hands.
Yeah, that's got to help.
He's a big kid. No doubt. And somebody that's going to continue to develop to get better, too, you would think. I mean, fastball's, 88 to 91, 92 now, but certainly there's a higher ceiling for him.
Hellman lays down a bunt. It's a good one. Barehanded by Reynolds over to first. And in time. Good play there by Reynolds.
Well, we talked about Reynolds' defense and how good he is over there. And I tell you what, I thought he kind of almost overran this ball, but boy, reached out and barehanded. Look at the strong and accurate throw across the diamond because Hellman runs well. And I tell you what, that play wasn't even close.
Tough play. Moves the runner over to second, though, and Blake. Owls be Logan Foster stepping in. One out runner in scoring position. The Aggies trying to tack on a couple more. A&M so far tonight, 2 for 8 with runners in scoring position. Good pitch at 88 miles an hour there from Boki. Oh, 1. Tugged outside by Boki. And it's 1-1. And we mentioned it. He came over to play at Odessa in his sophomore year there. Had a 6-4 record, a 4.23 ERA. So it was not an easy journey. It's not as if he just picked it up. Was the best pitcher coming out of Italy. It's been some struggles.
That's a pretty good breaking ball right there. Didn't get the call. Yeah, it's been some struggles, but you know what? He got innings in, too. You know, he got innings in, and that's how you develop. I mean, while the numbers weren't great when he was at Odessa, I tell you what he did do. He racked up some innings, too. So it's about experience a lot of times, and it's hard to develop when you're not getting consistent work, and he was able to get that.
2-1 to Foster. A little bit outside. Petrinsky tried to frame it up for him.
That's why Division I schools aren't for everybody coming out of high school. You know, I mean, a lot of kids will go to D1 because they said, well, I get to go to a Division I school, and that's great. But if you're not playing and you're okay with that, I guess it's okay, but you're not really developing. I like kids that say, hey, you know what, I'll go to NAIA, I'll go to a junior college. I want to work on my skills. I want to try to develop right away, and then I'll be ready to play D1 baseball.
So would you say you're a fan of going to college or going to that NAIA and getting experience rather than going out of high school per se?
Well, yeah,
depending on the situation.
Exactly. I mean, if you're going to be a guy, and that's another pitch that, you know, that could have been called a strike. It should have been called a strike, really. I mean, it's around the outside corner, and Boki doesn't get the call. But, yeah, I mean, it depends on really what you want. Some kids are okay going to a D1 school and sitting for a couple years until they get an opportunity. Maybe they go to the, you know, the summer leagues, and they try to develop in the summer leagues. The other kids say, hey, you know what? I think I want to go somewhere where I can begin to develop right away. Junior college is always a good option. NAIA is a good option. Then if you have a good year in junior college, you can leave after your first year and then go to D1 school if you choose to. I mean, look no further than the leadoff hitter Michael Hellman for Texas A&M. He's had an outstanding year. National Junior College Player of the Year last year, and now he's leading off for the Aggies.
Here's Shoemake now. Big hack of the first pitch from Boki. Try to put yourself in Matteo Boki's shoes right now. Coming over from Parma, Italy, probably never experiencing a crowd like this, and now you hear, 9,000 or so just chanting your name. Shoemake grounds it hard to first. Could be two. They'll keep it over at second base. They'll only get one with Hamilton.
Yeah, but I like the confidence by McKenzie, the first baseman. I tell you what, he could have taken the easy way out on that one and went and stepped on him back, but instead makes the tough throw over to Hamilton, who is covered. Cuts down that runner going to second base. Now first and third and 2 out.
Boki and Petrinsky looking over to their dugout, trying to get a couple of signs in, possibly. Runners on the corners and 2 outs. Situational baseball here for Hunter Coleman. The Aggies scored all 4 of their runs back in the first inning. Good pitch right there.
Yeah, I mean, Fields, the first reliever, came in behind O'Donnell, did exactly what he needed to do. He goes 2 2/3, allows 3 hits, no runs, only 1 walk, and 4 big strikeouts for him. And now Matteo Boki is in, trying to keep putting those goose eggs up to give this Longhorn offense a chance to catch up.
Boki trying to settle in here in the bottom of the 4th. Not an easy place to settle into at Bluebell Park. Well, high ball 2. You seeing anything from Boki right now?
Well, I mean, the fastball's been good. I mean, They call it a changeup. I look at his grip when he goes with his grip into his glove. It looks like a split-finger fastball to me because he almost holds a split-finger grip from time to time. Then he kind of goes into the glove and adjusts. So that's going to be his off-speed pitch. He's got that tight slider he works in right there. So certainly a 3-pitch guy. Fastballs on both sides of the plate, a tight slider, and a split-finger fastball is his out pitch. I mean, you like the size. Anytime you see a pitcher 6'4", 6'5", that's a plus.
A&M taking a book out of the Florida State playbook there. Slow roller, going to be a tough play. Hamilton, bare hands, throws to first. That saves a run and maybe more. How about that from David Hamilton? What a play.
Oh, you talk about the defense. He may be the best defensive shortstop in the Big 12. How about this bare hand across the diamond just in time?
Kangaroo's pouch provides comfort and security for the little ones inside. Possibly the inspiration behind Hanes Comfort Flex Fit with a breathable pouch. That and probably this. Hanes Comfort Flex Fit.
Yesterday, there was a celebration of life service for college baseball Hall of Famer and Longhorn legend Augie Garrido, who passed away on March 15th. Houston Street and Mark Kotze both spoke to honor the coach. And you talk about Augie Garrido, a guy who was more than baseball, more than life, bigger than life for so many players, coaches. Rob Childress himself, a tough one. And I'm sure you've had your fair share of encounters with the late, great coach Augie Garrido over your period of time playing and in the game of college baseball. Ground ball over to short, backhanded by Shoemake. Over to first, he's going to have to tag. Acrobatic play by Coleman. The throw was down the line, able to apply the tag on Austin Todd. Let's see if he got this one on there in time. Yep. I think he catches him right on the back there.
Yeah, and you wonder if that's interference on the first baseman. You see the foot sticking out there right there, and that trips up Todd running down the first base line, but certainly the tag was applied. Yeah, I saw Augie and, of course, Skip Bertman when Texas came down to Baton Rouge early in the year in February, you know, and got to say hello to him. And good to see him and Skip. They both threw out the first pitch together down in Baton Rouge, one of the games.
Texas honoring Augie Garrido throughout the course of this season. They have the Augie Garrido on the helmets, the side of their helmets. It's, you know, it's tough to see. A tough one to swallow for all of Texas, all of college baseball, and beyond.
Yeah, just affected, you know, a guy like Augie affected so many lives on and off the field.
Do you remember the first time you met Augie?
No, I don't remember the first time. I remember last year at the College World Series, he invited our crew to go to dinner one night. And I remember just sitting there, and my son got to come, which I was excited about, my son getting to meet Coach Garrido, and boy, what an experience that was for him. And me, too.
Line drive out to right field. That's a base hit for Shaw, but
just the stories, you know, when you can lean on a guy like that and just hear the stories of how baseball used to be years ago. You see the career wins, the College World Series appearances, second most ever. Of course, 5 titles, 3 at Fullerton and 2 at Texas. And it was just sit down with him over dinner and just hear some of the stories and hear him talk about the game of baseball and how it's changed from, you know, its beginnings when he got in it many years ago to where it is now and how it's grown across the country. Just one of those times you're just all ears. You don't say a whole lot, you just listen.
It's safe to say there's never going to be another Augie Garrido.
No doubt.
He was one of a kind, and
Well, and he loved it too. And I remember some of the rants you see on YouTube and wherever you see him, some of the rants, and I remember him screaming at kids saying, this is my life, But what he was trying to tell them is, you've got to learn how to compete. You got to go out and compete every day, and that's what he tried to get from his players. Is win or lose, that's one thing. And I as a coach too, I can take it if my team loses, but if you go out and you compete and we lose, I'm okay with that. When you go out and you don't compete, and you lay down at times, that's what you can't stand as a coach. And I think that was the message, in that particular clip that I saw. He wanted his guys to go out and compete every day. And Augie was a lot like, the guy I played for, Skip Bertman, who's one of the greatest of all time too. They knew how to push buttons. And to me, that's always a sign of a great coach is, we can't coach every kid the same way. I got to learn what button to push on you to get the best out of you and how to do it. I think Augie, when you talk to the guys that played for him, a lot like Skip Bertman, they just knew how to push the buttons to get the most out of every one of their players.
And they knew which button, like you were saying, which buttons to press and
when to hold back. That's right. Because you can't coach all the same way. Kids are just too different these days. And Augie talked about that last year, about how, we used to kind of rule with an iron fist way back in the day. We ruled everybody the same way. We taught it the same way. This is how we did things. But then he figured out, hey, I got to adjust the kid. Kids are a little bit different these days, And he was a master at it, just a master at figuring out how to get the best out of his players.
Nobody with more experience than Augie Garrido. Of course, with his time at Cal State Fullerton and building that program up, then coming over to Texas, doing the exact same thing. He'll be sorely missed. Two-2 to Hibbler's fouled off the end of the bat. And even Coach David Pierce, when we were talking with him on the phone yesterday morning about Augie and what Augie did for him when he arrived over from Tulane, he said he could not have been more open and more welcoming of me coming to this program and taking over the helm. And that just goes to show Augie's character. Snap throw down to first base, close.
Yeah, it just goes to show you that his love for Texas, for the University of Texas, it wasn't about him. He could have made it about him, but he didn't. He made it about Texas, where he loved to coach and did so many wonderful things. And he embraced David Pierce when he got there. And he said, listen, I'll help you out. Lean on me anytime you need to. Help you out any way I can.
Runner takes off. Ball fouled back. 6 straight NCAA bursts. There's impressive numbers right there. Sam Houston State, Tulane, Texas now.
Because he's only been a head coach for, this is just his 7th year as a head coach. So every year, David Pierce, no matter where he's been, has made it to the NCAA tournament.
He's trying to get back in this game. They trail 4-0. 3-2, runner takes off again, and another foul ball out of play.
How about the year that David Pierce had last year, too? 39 wins. Sounds pretty good, but how about this? It's 14 wins better than the previous year. So as soon as he stepped on campus with Texas, they improved by 14 wins from the year before.
This is the 9th pitch of the at-bat. Kolek and Hibbler battling it out right now. I'll check over to first base. Tate Shaw with some speed. He's been on base all 3 times he's been up at the plate. A walk and 2 singles. Payoff. Runner goes in the dirt. Ball 4. Kolek was trying to get him to chase. Hibbler not biting. Cole Bedford out to have a couple of words.
Yeah, what a big week this is for Texas. I mean, you got a big game tonight, and then you travel to #1 Oklahoma, who's #1 in the Big 12 Conference at 8-1. Texas will visit them, so a matchup between 1 and 2 this weekend. You can make the case as this is the most important week so far of the season for Texas.
And it appears as if head coach Rob Childress is going to make a change here with the dangerous Cody Clemens coming up to the plate. And it will be indeed Kaylor Chafin. We mentioned all of the weapons they have out in that bullpen. Kaylor Chafin is certainly one of them. We'll see him come up to face Clemens after the break.
My family means everything to me. While I was deployed in Iraq, really grateful USA was able to take care of my family. It's my job to provide the best security I know to my kids.
I was born in a hurry. My mother was a free spirit, my father gung-ho. Together, they were unstoppable. So, here's to you, Mom and Dad. Freedom and adventure.
The locomotive's coming in because next Saturday, the spring football season continues right here on the SEC Network with 3 more games. At 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, it's Missouri Annual Black and Gold game. Then Dan Mullen runs his first orange and blue debut at the Swamp. And we wrap it up with Jimbo Fisher and the maroon and white game at Kyle Field, which you could see right in the background there. That's all coming up. All 3 are also streaming live on the ESPN app. Kyle Field in all its glory as the sun starts to set in College Station. Texas A&M with a 4-0 lead. The home that Johnny built, Kyle Field.
There it is.
Looking for a little more success possibly this season. New pitcher on the mound. Here's Kaylor Chafin. 5'11", 180 from the left-hand side, but man, he's got the strikeout ability this season. 23 and 20 2/3 innings.
Well, the fastball's 88 to 91, but the difference is a spike curveball. Throws a knuckle curveball, and it's a good one. That's why you see the strikeouts up to where they are. Typically, the control is good, too, and one of the 2 lefties down there that Rob Childress counts on in big situations. This certainly is one of those.
He's coming in a tough spot with runners on first and second. And 1 out. Cody Clemens up at the plate. He's due tonight. He has struck out twice.
Yeah, it's been tough sledding for Cody Clemens. Got to face the left-handers. That's all he's seen tonight, and probably all he's going to see all night long with those numbers.
Lefty-lefty matchup. No doubt done on purpose. Clemens slashes one down the left field line. That's going to land in fair territory. Shaw comes in to score. Hibbler comes in. He slides safe. And just like that, the Longhorns cut the deficit to 2 runs on an RBI double from Cody Clemens. We said he was due, Ben. He came up big right there.
Well, he's just too good. He's been too good this year. A&M was able to get him a couple of times. Boy, this is not a bad pitch. This is borderline even being a strike, but Cody Clemens guessed right to me. He guessed out over the plate in a way you see, and that's the difference in him this year opposed to last year. Didn't try to pull that ball or hook it, just went right along with it, just barreled it up down the left field line, and boy, once it got in the corner, there was no doubt 2 runs were going to score. It looked like to me Foster, the left fielder for A&M, was shaded more towards left center field and took him a little time to get to that ball.
Hibbler trucking all the way from first to score. So Texas gets on the board. Would you expect anything less between these 2 teams? There was no way that Texas wasn't going to score in this game. Just based on what we've seen the past 2 years, it's been 1-run games. Zach Zubia stepping into the plate. Strikeout and a walk so far for him. Chafin's given up a couple of runs this year, but Can't beat yourself up on that pitch to Clemens. That's a pretty good pitch.
I mean, you hate to do it as a pitcher, and I was the worst at anybody of giving the hitter credit, but sometimes you tip your hat, and that ball is, like I said, it was borderline even being a strike. I don't know. To me, that the strike zone's been a little tight tonight. I don't even know if the home plate umpire would call that a strike. But tip your hat to Cody Clemens. What a year he is having.
Big swing and a miss from Zubia. Breaking ball just fell out of sight there.
That's what Chafin can do to you. He can really mix it up. He'll throw that breaking ball. He'll mix in a changeup. He'll run down and away from the righties, and he'll show you an upper 80s type fastball that he normally spots it up really well.
So Clemens cuts the deficit to 2 with an RBI double. Zubia now. Whoa.
That's what I'm saying. The zone for me has been a little bit tight tonight for a college strike zone. It's been more of a big league strike zone is what we've seen, which is about the size of a Frisbee. But that's a nice pitch. Normally when the catcher rocks to the outside corner, and just like Bedford did in that situation, and the ball is delivered right on point, normally it's a strike in the college game, but not so much tonight.
It's been a little bit tighter. Here's the 2-2. Lined into left field. They're going to wave around Clemens. He will score easily. And it's 4-3 A&M. Now this is more like it. An RBI single from Zubia. This is another good at bat.
Yeah, ball just down, and this was more middle of the strike zone. Got to throw a strike in this situation. And how about the red shirt freshman Zubia? Goes down and gets a fastball over the plate, barrels it up to left field, and Cody Clemens chases home the 3rd run of the game.
All right, so Bluebell Park falling a little bit quieter. That's a good comeback pitch there.
You mentioned it. Did you expect anything else the way this series, these matchups have gone in recent years? Just something, it just almost felt like we would have one of these.
One-run games each of the last 2 years. You mentioned it too, Ben. They don't play each other as much as they used to when A&M was in the Big 12. But man, these teams are familiar with each other. These players, as you said, grow up playing against or with each other and are now on different teams. There's a rope down the right field line. Zubia hits second, heads for third. Hamilton will hold up at first. Texas bats have come alive here in the top of the 5th.
I tell you, A&M pitching was able to do it. The first 4 innings, find ways to keep putting zeros up, but not this inning. Texas continues to barrel the ball up, and now the folks in the upper deck.
There we go.
Got a little life, got some smiles to them now.
They've been waiting for a couple of innings, and now finally the Longhorns have started to hit the ball. They were 1 for 9 in the first 4 innings with runners on. Now they are 3 for 3 in this inning. Ryan Reynolds 0 for 2 tonight, a strikeout and a ground out.
We mentioned Texas had won 6 in a row and 13 out of 16 coming in.
It's a big hack there from Reynolds.
Well, that's what Chafin can do to you. He can get you in plus counts, fastball counts, and he can take a little bit off, pitching backwards, if you will. Has the ability to throw all 3 pitches of his pretty much at any situation, any count.
Check on Hamilton. He's got speed over there. This could be a scenario where you might see Hamilton try to take one.
Yeah, I mean, you would think he'd try to stay out of the double play, especially because he can run. But the last thing you want to do in this situation, of course, is get picked off or get nailed trying to steal second base, because this is one of these situations you don't need a base hit to score a run and tie the game. I mean, a sacrifice fly ties the game in this situation.
Hamilton doesn't go. That hits him. Chafin came a little bit too far inside, might have just held on to it a little too long. That hits Ryan Reynolds.
And that was the intent of the pitch. You can see Bedford rock to the inside part of the plate, and you're right, Chafin just yanked it a little bit too far inside. Catches him right there on the front leg.
And that will be the end of the day for Kaylor Chafin. He's a little bit perturbed. He hands the ball to Coach Rob Childress. Not the outing that Kaylor Chafin had hoped for. The bases are loaded.
And normally you see him much better than that. I mean, he's been kind of Rob Childress' security blanket out of that bullpen. I mean, when he comes in, he normally does a job, but boy, the Longhorns had an answer for him tonight.
Well, we mentioned the past 2 years, it's been one-run games. It's a one-run game right now. Back on March 15, 2016, Michael Barish went Yahtzee, a walk-off homer over the left field fence for the 5-4 win. Flash forward just under a year after this happened. Then Texas A&M got the tying run to third in the top of the ninth, couldn't get the run across the plate, and they fell 4-3 to the Longhorns. And 4-3 is our score right now. See that the Aggies put up 4 in the bottom of the first. They've been doing that all season. This is kind of where they've been running into some trouble. Right now in the top of the fifth, 3 runs have scored, and the Longhorns threatening once again. New pitcher on the mound, Kason Sherrod, 6'4", 215. Sherrod, excuse me, out of Dallas, Texas, senior.
Yeah, another big arm for the Aggies coming out of that bullpen. See the numbers on the year, 21 in the third. 2-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. Again, an upper 80s, low 90s type fastball. Breaking ball and change up to go with it. Yeah, I mean, you talk about this comeback. We said the key to it for Texas was going to be, could their relievers go up and put some zeros up? Well, that's kind of the MVP right now. Cameron Fields came in, did a wonderful job. Mateo Boki worked out of a jam, and so that's allowed this Texas offense to have an opportunity, and they've taken advantage of it here in the fifth.
Take a look at this. And this game was sold out about a month and a half ago, so we've been told. And, you know, every year this is one of the biggest games. A sunset, beautiful College Station, Olsen Field. In-state rivalry doesn't get much better than this. And for most of these kids, this is what they dream of, playing in front of crowds just like this. And, you know, sometimes even after you get drafted in the minor leagues, you're not seeing crowds like this.
No. Well, that's what, you know, when I talk to the college kids, that's what I always tell them is, listen, enjoy this experience, because there's not many minor league ballparks. You know, you're going to go and you're going to play at South Carolina or at Texas A&M at Bluebell Park or others, you know, where you're playing in front of crowds of 6,000 to 8,000 to 10,000 every night. It just doesn't happen. There may be a handful of ballparks around the country, but really, it's not until you make it to the big leagues, if you're lucky enough, that you really get consistent crowds like that again.
2 blue blood programs in college baseball battling it out. Bases loaded, top of the fifth. First pitch from Sherrod misses a little bit high. Jake McKenzie in a big situation here could give the Longhorns the lead or tie it up. Here's a ground ball. This could be 2. Flip to second, on over to first. And in time. What a big play. How about that? Crowd's coming alive once again. Aggies maintain the 4-3 lead. We got Rob Childress coming up on the wire. Stay right here.
Captivating exteriors. Elevated comfort. And one more thing. The 2019 Jeep Cherokee.
Chicken Minis. Get the feeling of Chick-fil-A for breakfast.
Well, we talked about it to start this game. Up the middle, Shoemake to Hellman on over to first. A huge play to keep the Aggies ahead 4-3. And we now are joined by head coach Rob Childress. Coach, we got to ask you about that double play right there. How about that to get you guys out of a jam?
Well, certainly Texas had grabbed the momentum. There we go, the bullpen. We're chafing, and they greeted him rudely. And, you know, we go to Sherrod for the ground ball, and we certainly got it. We're able to get off the field and keep the lead.
Coach, impressed with your freshman starter, Chandler Josewalk. I tell you what, first batter of every inning seemed to get on, but he found a way to kind of turn it up a notch, man. He racked up the strikeouts, too. 5 strikeouts in just 3 innings pitched, but showed some really good stuff.
Well, he's got a great arm, really good slider, competitive kid from, small town that's got great baseball tradition. Brenham not far from here, and, he's going to be a really, really good one day, and he has been for us thus far.
Coach, quick question. What do you got to do to get this offense going that we saw back in the bottom of the first?
Well, we keep setting them up. I mean, we just got to get a few big hits. I think we've had 8 opportunities since the first inning to get a big hit, and, we haven't done that. As long as we're getting opportunities, I feel good about our chances.
That's head coach Rob Childress. Coach, thanks for joining us. Best of luck down the road.
Thank you, guys.
New pitcher on the bump for the Longhorns, Parker Joe Robinson. Coming in with a sidearm at 6'5", 230.
Yeah, he's going to have a little deception coming from the sidearm, being especially tough on the right-handers. You see the numbers on the year. Very good strikeout to walk ratio. 3 walks, 11 strikeouts on the season.
Parker Joe Robinson. What a great name for baseball.
How about that? Fastball's 83 to 87. You see how he drops it down from that 3/4 slot, so he'll get some good sink and run on that 2-seam fastball, which means he'll run it down and away from the lefties, inside to the right-handers. Show you a breaking ball and a changeup as well from that slot.
It's been tough to run anything away from this guy tonight. Will Frizzell, 2 for 2. A couple of RBIs. He's been a big part of this A&M offense tonight.
Yeah, for a big guy, he shows you a nice, short, tight, quick stroke to the baseball.
The chants continue. Good pitch right there in the outside corner. Although the chants have gotten a little bit dimmer, especially after that 3 spot that the Longhorns put up in the top of the 5th.
Yeah, certainly the Longhorns have most of the momentum now. That was a huge double play. Obviously, it kept Texas from tying the ball game up, but still, Texas did exactly what it needed to do. We said way back in the first inning, their offense needed to find a way just to kind of chip away, and that's kind of what they've done.
The Longhorns have come into this game on a 6-game winning streak. They're 13 for 3 in their last 16 games. Tough time to play the Longhorns right now, and they're giving A&M a run for their money at their home park. Still got a lot of baseball to go. Slash the other way, picked up by Hamilton. Throw over to first in time. Oh, we mentioned that Texas has been playing really well. Here are your Big 12 standings right now. Oklahoma is arguably one of the best teams in college baseball this season. Texas Tech right up there too, but Texas hanging right in there with the big boys.
Yeah, I mean, the preseason poll, if you look at preseason, Texas Tech was picked to finish first. TCU was picked to finish second. Of course, Texas third, but that's not the way it's gone so far in the Big 12.
When you look at some of the numbers, too, in the Big 12, not everybody has played the same amount of games, which makes for an interesting way to do standings and rankings, but that's the way they do it.
Well, the weather's been so tough, in certain parts, certainly in the Midwest. Even this past weekend, it was cold everywhere. Rain, snow. It's been a little bit of a cool spring at times, and that's why you see some of the games rained out, postponed, and so it'll go off percentage points, not off of wins.
Slow roller over to third, basically a bunt, picked up, throw to first, not in time. Bedford beats out the weak roller. Parker Joe was quick to get off the mound.
Yeah, Parker Joe hesitated at one point. Maybe he thought the third baseman Reynolds was going to come get it. I think it was just enough for Bedford to beat it out. Parker Joe does everything he can, gets over and fires it, but Bedford too quick.
Whose play is that? Is that third base? Are we calling him off there?
No, I mean, whoever can get to it first, you know, and it was clearly that the third baseman Reynolds was playing back in that situation, so that's the pitcher's ball all the way if he can get to it. You know, a lot's lost in pitchers, but the guys, watch the route Parker Joe takes. Right there, you see him hesitate just for a second because he thought Reynolds was coming, and that little hesitation where he kind of bellied away from the ball was just enough to cost him a base hit. That's why fielding your position is so important, you know, especially in the college game where guys are bunting a lot. If you can be an athletic guy out there and really field your position, that can save you a lot of outs and help you win ball games.
Well, Texas defense has actually done a pretty good job this season.
Yeah, Texas always known. I mean, that's what it lives on. Pitching and defense for the most part. Now, the offense is better this year for Texas. Scoring almost 1 run per game better this year than what they did last year offensively.
Team batting average is up as well. There's that .978 fielding percentage. So the Aggies a little aggressive now. They're trying to go a little hit and run action in the bottom of the 5th.
Well, Rob Childress always been aggressive, and most coaches are, especially when you have the lead, and A&M obviously still up by 1 run. So 2-1 count. It was a fastball count. Rob Childress rolled the dice. Hit and run.
Not going this time. Slash the other way, foul. Deloach, a walk, and a fielder's choice. Cole Bedford with a decent lead off first. Good pitch there. That absolutely fooled Deloach. Almost like a half swing. Wasn't sure about it.
Little backdoor breaking ball. So some 2-seamers on the outside corner. Kind of starts from there. Watch this ball. As a hitter, you give up on it. You think it's on the outside part of the plate, and all of a sudden it starts to come back. More of an emergency hack. Right there by Deloach. Not able to come up with it.
Parker Joe Robinson, 4 balls, 11 strikes. He's been living in the zone. Well, Ben, I didn't know if you know this, but your O's were getting no hit today earlier on.
They were.
Tim Beckham just broke it up for you guys. Aaron Sanchez, the right-handed pitcher for the Blue Jays, had a no-hitter going into the 8th inning.
Yeah, the Jays put it to the Orioles late in the ball game last night. I was kind of following that one. Oh, Josh Donaldson last night played at Auburn with a grand slam late in the ball game to nail it down for the Blue Jays. O's did have a big weekend at Yankee Stadium, though, winning 3 out of 4, so that kind of helped maybe get their season kick-started a little bit.
Another one of those late-breaking sliders or off-speed pitches for Parker Joe.
Yeah, it's a little bit of, it's an unusual arm slot. And of course, he's shown you 3 different pitches out of that slot already: the breaking ball, changeup, and a fastball.
Yancha pops it up. Shallow center field, coming in on it, and shading to his left is Shaw. And he will make the catch to end the inning. 4-3 is still our score. We are heading to the top of the 6th inning at Bluebell Park.
Now this is everybody's favorite pirate, Picaroon. Now, wherever Picaroon would go, be it land, sea, bay, brig, or with very little oxygen, he carried a dream to make peace through harmony. Beautiful music. Which is also available in the gift shop.
Buy Xbox One S, get Sea of Thieves.
Nobody drinks till this guy sweats.
Degree Advanced Protection works up to 100 degrees, but be careful, it won't let you down.
We'll have some more spring football coming up this Friday. It's Kentucky Blue-White game from Kroger Field in Lexington under the lights again this year as head coach Mark Stoops and the Cats cap off the spring 6:30 Eastern, 5:30 Central right here on the SEC Network. Also available on the ESPN app. Game summary. A&M got out to an early lead. They scored 4 in the bottom of the first. And Texas came back. 4 pitchers used on both sides, 100 pitches, or just about on both sides. Runners left on base, 7. This game's pretty darn even.
Would you expect anything else?
Absolutely not. Back here at Blue Bell Park in College Station has been a ruckus crowd all evening. In-state rivalry flares up once again. Alongside Ben McDonald, I'm Sam Ravitch. Thanks for joining us here tonight. DJ Petrinsky to start it off for the Longhorns. He's 0 for 2 today. How about that, though? 200 pitches combined, and we're through 5 innings.
Mm-hmm.
Good location there, back-to-back pitches. 92 miles an hour.
Well, both teams have walked 4. That never helps. Few base hits along the way. And a pretty tight strike zone overall.
Yeah, you were saying that earlier. It has been fairly tight, and it may have even gotten tighter as the game has also gotten tighter. Tugged outside, count evens at 2-2. Sherrod, a couple of words to himself. And the 2-2. A little high cheese fouled straight back. Well, the Aggies trying to keep Texas off the board. Texas had the momentum going in the 5th. They were able to score those 3 runs in a huge double play to get the Aggies out of a bases-loaded jam. Hanging curveball rope down the left field line, but foul. Seventh pitch of the at-bat for Sherrod. And DJ Petrinsky. Fouled off once again, make it 8. So with all these pitches, this game could come down to a bullpen duel-off.
Well, that's what it's going to be. I mean, no doubt. I mean, whoever's bullpen's most effective, obviously. And both bullpens are pretty good.
Sharp grounder in between short and third. Leadoff single for Petrinsky. Here's that double play that got the Aggies out of trouble in the 5th. They had already given up 3. And here it is. Shoemake, Hellman over to first in time.
What a nice job by Sherrod, who came in and got that ground ball double play. One of the things he does well, stays down in that strike zone, 2 seam fastballs.
So the Longhorns get the leadoff man on in Petrinsky, and now it'll be Austin Todd. Squares to bunt, gets it down. And it's foul. We've seen a few of these now, situations where, going back to the first inning, where Mason Hibbler had the opportunity to get the runner over Shaw to second base, couldn't do it. He popped it up. There's been quite a few opportunities to sacrifice some runners over today.
Yeah, Texas is normally a better sacrificing type team than what we've seen tonight. But that's a sacrifice, result you're hoping for, but it's almost a drag bunt is what Austin Todd just tried to do.
They'll try again. Ooh. Up in. Right in the grill.
That'll keep you from leaning out over the plate, won't it? That's what you're taught as a pitcher, though. You get ahead in the count, no balls and 1 strike. You want to try to elevate a fastball. Maybe not so much that far inside, but definitely elevate it when you're up, and maybe you'll get a pop-up. Again, one of those ones you hear coming.
There's your stat right there. 26 sacrifice bunts, second most of the Big 12. And another foul ball. Sherrod's done just exactly what you were saying, keeping the ball a little bit elevated in the zone once you see that bunt.
As long as you're ahead in the count, you can do that. That's exactly where you want to try to throw it, is up in the zone when you can.
Check on Petrinsky over at first. Todd squared to bunt early on. It appears as if he's going to try again. You like this situation here, Ben?
Yeah, I mean, he's a good bunter. I mean, he's sitting down in the 9-hole, you think.
Brings it back, slashes it over to third. Over to second, could be 2. Not in time. Ball was chopped just a little bit too high. And Todd with some speed beat it out, but Yansha got it out of his glove fairly quickly.
Yeah, I think he had to wait for the second baseman Hellman to get to the bag. You see the double pump right there, just waiting, and that was just enough time. As Austin Todd gets down the line pretty good, he beats it out. In a bunt situation, Hellman is shaded more towards first base because he has to cover first base just in case the first baseman Coleman has to go in and field the bunt. So it took him a little extra time to get back to the bag, and that was just the difference in turning a double play. You see how far Hellman is shaded over just in case he's got to get to first base. That's the second vector for taking Texas A&M, and watch the double pump. Waiting on Hellman to get there.
Ball fly down the left field line. That's going to get into the Aggie bullpen. So here's a situation for you. 1 out, runner on first. Top of your order is up right now. Shaw has been 2 for 2 today. Do you maybe have a little green light hit and run action here?
I think if you can get the count back in your favor, maybe a 2-ball, 1-strike count, I think it's certainly a possibility.
Todd has speed at first base. Want to try to avoid any sort of double play because the Aggies have shown they can do it. Shaw 2 for 2 with a walk today, both singles. Check swing, yep, he went around there.
Shows you the stuff Sherrod has. I tell you what, that's a disappearing type fastball, 90 miles an hour, 2-seam fastball running down and away from Tate Shaw.
It's going to be Shaw, then Hibbler after him. Ball pops out of the glove of Bedford, and the runner takes off. Todd's safe. That's going to be a pass ball. It looked like it was right in the glove of Bedford. Just didn't close it.
I think maybe looking at the runner, he jumps to the outside part of the plate. That's exactly where the ball's delivered. And you're right, it kind of hits him in the thumb down the bottom part of the glove. It kicks out of his glove, and there's a tying run in scoring position.
Bedford slapped his glove with the ball, not happy with that. There's a good pitch, ring him up. Talk about hitting your spots right there, Ben Sherrod. Nailing that outside corner.
Yeah, fastball command is what it's all about. Not only is it a good fastball, you can see the catcher Bedford rocks to the outside part of the plate. Boy, I mean right off the outside corner. Just a perfect pitcher's pitch with 2 strikes.
Tate Shaw a little bit perturbed there. I'm not sure what he was waiting for, but that was a good location, good pitch, good execution.
Yeah, it almost looked like he was sitting on something off speed, and the fastball just got by him on the outside part.
Hibbler 0 for 1 with a walk and a run scored. Hibbler's been in the situation where he's just kind of been that sacrifice guy tonight. He's sacrificed a runner over back in the 3rd. He popped out on an attempted sacrifice in the 1st. And he walked back in the 5th. Got a runner in scoring position. Slash foul down the first base line.
Oh, you know, when you're hitting in front of a guy like Clemens, you know, you're going to run yourself into those situations a lot where you're going to be asked to move a runner up into scoring position. Because as long as Clemens is swinging the bat like he's been swinging it for most of the year, you got to give him an opportunity.
There he is, Cody Clemens, 1 for 3. His most recent at bat was a double down the line that brought in 2. Really jump-started the Longhorns' roll in the 5th. Sherrod with an 0-2 count. He's at 21 pitches now. He's thrown more than that this season. Bounced in front of home plate. Good block, though.
Boy, that's a weapon to have, a catcher like Bedford that can really block it up and keep it in front. You feel safe bouncing that breaking ball, and boy, you see him get his chest in front of it. Forward lean, squares it up where the ball stays in front and doesn't get by.
Bedford made that mistake on the previous at bat, and he said that's not happening again. This ball staying in front. One-two now to Hibbler. Right there, called strike 3. Back-to-back Ks for Sherrod. Gets him out of the inning.
Yeah, back-to-back Ks looking. It's that hard 2-seam fastball. Just down at the bottom of the knees. We got a ball game. A&M up 4-3 on the Longhorns.
Technology moves fast. You can move faster. The 2018 Audi Q5 is here. The only vehicle in its class with standard Apple CarPlay integration for your iPhone.
The all-new 2019 Infiniti QX50. Infiniti. Empower the drive.
Friday, we'll be in Auburn for the 23rd ranked Tigers, hosting Mississippi State. Hitchcock Field at Plainsman Park, 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central, right here on the SEC Network and live on the ESPN app. Going to be a good pitching matchup in that one. Sunday, we'll have the final game of the 3-game series between Tennessee and 24th ranked LSU Tigers at Alex Box Stadium, Skip Bertman Field in Baton Rouge, 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 Central, right here on the SEC Network and live on the ESPN app. Also live right now, let's take a look around the SEC scoreboard. Florida State, they win that one, making quick work, 6-3. And your boys LSU.
Yeah. Louisiana Tech was ranked in one poll.
Tough team.
Yeah. Say Baton Rouge again for me?
Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge, that's close.
Am I getting it?
You're getting it. We're going to have you there for us. So we'll have you say Baton Rouge here in a minute.
I grew up in Connecticut. You'll have to blame my dad on that one. Bryce Elder, the new pitcher, in. Here's a good stop by Clemens over to first. There's that range you were talking about earlier, though, Ben.
Not much Cody Clemens can't do this year. How about this little pop-up slide? Catches it and quickly to his feet, and a strong throw over the diamond. That's not an easy play right there. Sliding and catching and popping up all at the same time.
Tough play. Right up the middle, it's been strong. There's your 2018 Golden Spikes midseason watch list, 1 of 40. Breaking ball on the outside. And here's Bryce Elder, 6'1", 230 freshman. And 13 appearances, ERA north of 5, not where you want to see it. And he's going to be hearing it tonight. Michael Hellman, the top of the order now. That chant just gets louder and louder. Excuse me, Logan Foster now. Hellman's on first. That might just haunt you in your sleep right there. Bluebell Park coming alive in the bottom of the 6th. Bryce Elder trying to just throw a strike. He's on 7 right now. 12th man's going to let you know that. Well, there's your strike. Might have been a little gifted. That was...
Yeah, I think the home plate umpire was tired of hearing it.
Elder gets a strike. It was 8 balls in a row there.
Yeah, because it looked like Elder was holding his breath for 8 balls, but it looked like he finally had a chance to breathe after that strike.
Same spot. He's getting that strike call in the eye inside corner.
Yeah, how about that? A 3-1 breaking ball. Do you go back to a 3-2 count now?
I'm going to check on Hellman over at first. He's got speed. Payoff to Foster. Nope. That's high, ball 4. Hellman was actually taken off on the pitch. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. This has got to be one of the toughest places in college baseball to, pitch. If you're an opposing team, Texas with double barrel action in their bullpen right now. Crowd's just continue. They got shoes off. Look at this mayhem at Blue Bell Park right now. There's your largest crowds at Blue Bell. 2003 versus Texas, 99 versus Texas, 09. Tonight's crowd, 7,537, the largest since 2012. But notice, Texas, Texas, and Texas.
There's a common thread in there, right?
We got light up flip-flops.
I think say, now what is that?
Yeah, I'm not sure what we're doing here. We got boots off, though. This is...
I wonder if you walk on those, do you crush the lights? Or is that something you just wear on your hand the whole time?
I don't know. If you ever meet him, you can ask him. Runners on first and second with one out. Shoemake now. Swung at a ball there. Shoemake 1 for 2 tonight, a single, a run scored. Continues to be a very good leader for this Aggie team. He shows it on the field too.
Well, I think the big question going in, well, you know, we talked about this earlier, could he make that transition over to shortstop? And I tell you what, everything we've seen so far, I like the arm. That was my question, was the arm strong enough? I saw him a couple weeks ago go in the hole and come across a diamond. See what he's hitting with runners in scoring position, even better than what his yearly average is.
Elder jammed him there. Shoemake fell down to a knee. The ball was almost about to hit him in the chest if he didn't make contact with it.
Yeah, one of those breaking balls just kind of boring down and in on Shoemake, and you see he hits it and fouls it right off the top of that front foot. Oh, boy, does that hurt.
Aggies have not scored since the first inning. They put up all 4 of their runs in the bottom of the first. Texas, all 3 of their runs in the top of the 5th. Oh, we were mentioning it earlier. This could come down to a bullpen kind of duel off. And you were saying it too, Ben. Both these teams with tough games coming up this weekend. A&M just picked up their first win in SEC play. They're going to have to go and play another difficult series. And then also Texas going to Oklahoma.
Yeah, Texas goes on the road to Oklahoma. Again, the #1 team in the Big 12 is Oklahoma. A&M gets to stay at home there to stretch of their schedule. They can make a little bit of noise. They're going to host Alabama this weekend. And Alabama's playing well too. They've won their last 2 conference series. They lose their first 2. They won their last 2. So Alabama playing much better than the board. It's been about the pitching for them too. They're going to show you the #3 pitching staff in the entire SEC.
I think another good point that you made was the SEC in general is shrinking as far as top to bottom. There's so much talent everywhere, all around the league, and it's just getting tougher and tougher to win games in the SEC.
No doubt. I mean, you know, the proof, one of the things I've seen this year, last year, you know, opening weekend, there were 6 sweeps in the SEC, just opening weekend. Through 4 total weeks of SEC play this year, we've only had 7 sweeps total. So that goes to show you the parity and how the bottom is starting to come towards the top in the SEC.
It's a good point you make. As we come closer and closer towards postseason play, you're going to see a lot of these teams battling it out, and many people believe, including our man Kyle Peterson, that the Aggies are better than they are showing right now. Ground ball over to first base. Picking it up is McKenzie. He'll go to first. That'll advance both runners to second and third.
Yeah, I mean, that's how critical it's become now, you know, in the SEC. It just seems like every coach that loses a series can look back on that weekend in 3 games and just say, you know, if we could have made one more pitch, if we'd have made one more fielding player, got one more base hit with a runner in scoring position, that's how critical it's become between losing a series now and winning a series.
That's all it takes, one pitch or one at-bat.
That's it. Just one better at-bat, maybe one pitch made instead of giving up a base hit. You get a fly ball to right field. That's the difference in the series now.
Hunter Coleman now with runners on second and third. He's 0 for 2 tonight.
I mean, you look at the Tennessee-Florida series this weekend. I mean, Florida wins game 1. Tennessee's got the game 1 in game 2. Boy, it was back and forth seesaw battle. Florida came back and eventually won it, but then Tennessee wins game 3.
Coleman down the line, foul.
So Tennessee could have easily won that series against #1 Florida.
Now, what do you think the biggest change has been within the SEC over the past couple of years? And why has it started to shrink so much? Is it recruiting?
I think it's recruiting. But, you know, you take a team like Missouri. You know, Missouri's a team that, you know, all of a sudden last year, you know, they don't make NCAA. They're one of the last teams out. But this year it's different. You know, you got a weekend rotation. All 3 guys average better than a strikeout per inning. Got Niall Ball down in the bullpen. He's pretty good too. And all of a sudden some young guys have grown up. You know, Harris is up there. Brett Bond now is a senior. I mean, these guys have really shown up now and got some experience. You know, it's interesting to me that you know, how quickly the bottom has come towards the top. You take Alabama, friend; they've already won more conference games than they did last year.
Yeah, it's just interesting to watch, and it's going to be more and more interesting towards the end of this season. Hunter Coleman with an 0-2 count. He's got runners on second and third with 2 outs. And again, A&M has not scored since the first inning, trying to change that here. Tough ball to lay off of.
Yeah, that's a good pitch. 0-2, and you throw it just about a ball off the outside corner. And that's what you want to do when you get ahead as a pitcher. Make a pitch that's good enough to where it makes the hitter really have to make a decision on whether he wants to swing or not.
Coleman's done a good job to hang in there. Seen a couple of tough pitches from Elder right now.
Yeah, the ability by Coleman to lay off a fastball in the outside corner and just gets a piece of that breaking ball, which was located perfectly.
Now Petrinsky is going to go out, try to tell him what he's seeing from behind home plate. Maybe a weak spot in Coleman's swing, perhaps.
Yeah, sometimes with a runner on second base, they'll change signs or change locations of what they want to do to make sure the runner at second base is not tipping off location to the batter in the batter's box. So they'll switch up the signs from time to time.
1-2. Fouled off once again. Had on backwards and forwards. Starting to bring the juju to Olsen Park right now. 7th pitch of the at-bat from Elder. Grounded foul up the third base line.
Well, the more pitches Coleman sees, the more comfortable he gets. I tell you what, Bryce Elder's made some really good pitches, just unable to put him away so far.
Just been struggling with that put-out pitch. 7 foul balls between the last 2 batters, Coleman and Shoemake. Trying to find that put-out pitch. What's it going to be, Ben?
Well, he's shown him a little bit of everything. Fastballs in and out, breaking balls. Goes back with the breaking ball. I mean, 1 ball, 2 strike count. I like an elevated fastball, not in the strike zone, but just up, maybe let her high. Change the eye level a little bit. If you don't get a swing through on that, then maybe you come back with the breaking ball. But I haven't seen anything elevated up out of the zone yet.
He's got a couple pitches to waste if he needed to, but I don't want to throw anything away. And he hung a curveball. Lined it to left field. Hellman scores. Foster rounding third. He scores. 6-3 Aggies. Bubbles are going off at Bluebell Park. How about that at bat for Hunter Coleman, Ben? That was unbelievable.
Well, he fought off a lot of pitches, including a good fastball to the inside part of the plate, a couple away that he didn't swing at, and a breaking ball as well. But he finally gets a breaking ball. This location not as good. I'm talking about center, and you can see the celebration by Hunter Coleman. He knew it right when it left the barrel of his bat. That was a big base hit that was going to drive in too.
That might have been one of the best at-bats that he's had all season. 9 pitch at-bats, 7 fouls off, and then an RBI single that brings in 2 runs, Hellman and Foster. And just like that, the Aggies score their first run since the first inning. And it's 6-3. Uh-oh. Think you're lighting a fire under some Longhorns right now? Oh boy. There's some disconcerting faces, confused, maybe a little angry. I'd venture a guess all 3. Pitcher is going to be on for Texas, number 30, Josh Sawyer. Sawyer, 6'3", 220, junior out of San Angelo, Texas. 6th pitcher tonight for Texas.
Yeah, you see the numbers on the year. Strikeout per inning, that tells me he's got some good stuff, but the walks are a concern. 11 walks and 19 in the 3rd innings pitched. The fastball is a upper 80s, low 90 fastball with a breaking ball and changeup. Been banged up a little bit in his career, but he is healthy this year.
Well, he's coming into a loud Olsen Field at Bluebell Park. 12th man is come alive. The locomotive is back. Life is good if you're an Aggie fan right now. Just take a look at this reaction. A hard-fought battle won by Hunter Coleman, and he's fired up.
Yeah, you won't see a better at-bat than that. You know, that's what you hope to do when a pitcher's making some tough pitches, is fight off a few until finally maybe he'll make a mistake, and that's exactly what happened. A mistake was made, and Hunter Coleman didn't miss it.
Coleman, a 2-run RBI double. And now Will Frizzell trying to add a little bit more, 2-out rally. Good pitch there by Sawyer. Frizzell 2 for 3 today. A couple of RBIs, 2 base hits.
About that 91-mile-an-hour fastball, and breaks off a curveball to go up 0-2. Coleman stands on second after his heroic at bat.
0-2. We just saw 12th man come alive. If you're Texas, what's step one to get back in this game, Ben?
Well, you got to keep putting up zeros like we talked about. Got to get out of this inning.
This could be it. It's going to be a tough play. First baseman McKenzie dealing with the fans and the noise and the wind. And he's able to make the catch. Huge, huge at-bat for Hunter Coleman and the Aggies. Look at that emotion. And you'll hear it all night from Olsen Field as the Aggies lead 6-3.
It's 99-cent Kids Nights at Golden Corral. Now kids, eat and drink for just 99 cents. Under $1. Woo! It's prime time for family time. Come on now. Golden Corral. Your choice rules.
On the SEC Network, tune into Rally Cap for highlights and breakdowns of all the weekend's baseball and softball games, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, also available on the ESPN app. Ben, did I see you dancing on Rally Cap the other day?
Yeah, you did. You know how when you do something, you know instantly you probably shouldn't have done that? Well, that was one of those instances.
I liked it. I thought you had some moves out there.
Oh, man. I appreciate you saying that. It felt pretty awkward. I know it even looked worse.
That's going to be on your highlight reel for sure. 6-3 Aggies. Aggies are 20-2 this season when leading after the 6th inning. That's not a stat that Longhorns want to look at too closely. It'll be Clemens, Zubia, and Hamilton. Toughest part of this Longhorns order. Clemens got Texas back in the game in the 5th inning with that RBI double, brought in 2. He's 1 for 3 tonight. They need Clemens in this game.
What is it when you want to face a guy like Clemens with nobody on base?
Some high cheddar right there, 91 miles an hour.
Yeah, up in his zone. Clemens not getting cheated on his swings either.
2018 Golden Spikes midseason watch list. And the 1-2. Bounced in the dirt. Two balls, 2 strikes to Clemens. Yeah, he's been living 91-92 today.
Yeah. Well, Sherrod's always had a good arm. Command at times has been an issue for him the last couple of years, but I tell you what, when he's in the zone, the stuff's good. You can see it. The velocity's good, and the movement on the fastball is equally as good.
Payoff, poke the other way. Backhanded by Shoemake. Tough play. Not in time. That would have been a SC top 10 nominee if he was able to pull that off. That was almost Derek Jeter-esque.
Yeah, Clemens gets fooled in a two-seamer, kind of running down and away. Just kind of sticks the bat out there, just tries to find the barrel if he can and quickly out of the box. And Shoemake does everything that he can do. 6'4", ranges in the 5-hole, crossed the diamond, but not in time. That's what you forget about Shoemake. He's 6'4" out there running around. You know, he's a tall guy.
He moves well. He's got some good range. Here's Zubia. Good spot for Sherrod. You can kind of see in Sherrod's ears there, he does have some hearing aids. He's 53% deaf in both ears. Get a better look. You can see those hearing aids there. 53% deaf, and it's got to add a little bit of an extra thing to think about when you're on the mound.
Love the move by Bedford. Sherrod's been so good since coming in, and really threw a nice pitch to Clemens. Clemens just reached out and put a bat on it, put it in the hole for a base hit. And I'm sure that conversation was, hey, don't change anything that you've been doing. You're pitching outstanding. Let's continue to throw strikes. Let's work ahead. We'll mix in some off-speed stuff, and we'll get out of here.
And a lot of pitchers, a lot of pitches in this game. 2-1. That's hit hard down the line. Look out. Even at 2-2. This is the toughest part of this Longhorn order. To get through this, you're running the gauntlet.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. You got to navigate through it. The top 4 or 5 guys. You know, and a lot like A&M, Texas is trying to be a little bit more consistent towards the bottom of their lineup, too, because if you look down in there, Todd's batting .213. Petrinsky's batting .248, McKenzie .279, and of course Reynolds hitting .256.
Texas trails by 3 runs. Clemens takes off. It's going to be ball 4. It doesn't matter.
Certainly a good start for Texas here in the top of the 7th after giving up 2 runs in the bottom of the 6th. Texas now runners on first and second and nobody out.
You were saying Sherrod at 35 pitches. If he's going to be used this weekend, you can't imagine the leash is going to be much longer.
Well, you know, that's where you worry with your midweek games when you have that Thursday, Friday, Saturday weekend game. You got to be careful with your relief guys because you can take them out of play the first game of that series if you use them too much.
And the Aggies do have their fair share of weapons still to use down in their bullpen.
Well, that's why, you know, if you're Rob Childress, you don't have to be as careful because you have options down there.
First and second for David Hamilton.
Yeah, you got to think this might be a bunt opportunity.
There it is. Fouled off. And we do have a new right fielder in the game now, Alante Wingate. Wingate has played some third base for this Aggie team. He's played some outfield. He can do it all.
Hamilton really can present some problems because he runs so well once he does get the bunt down.
Yep, that's a good one right there. Barehanded throw over to first is in time. Good bunt there from Hamilton. Sacrifice is complete, so second and third now. Clemens and Zubia move up a base. And this is where you were talking about. This half of the order for Texas has to come in these situations and bring in some runs. Ryan Reynolds will have the first crack at it.
Yeah, and this is when you have to be good because this is a situation where you don't have to have a base hit to score a run. Texas A&M is going to keep the infield back, so a ground ball to the shortstop, ground ball to second baseman brings you within 2 runs.
This ball's chopped back up the middle. That's going to get through. Actually, Shoemake stops it. He throws behind the runner at third base. Zubia dives back safe. A hectic call. Shoemake fooled me. Clemens will score. It'll be 6-4. Shoemake was able to get to that and throw behind Zubia. That's awfully close. Heads up play, though, by Shoemake. Check this out.
Yeah, Shoemake, that's one thing you hear people talk about, a very high baseball IQ. He keeps the ball in the infield. I tell you what, heads up enough where he throws a dart to the third baseman, Yoncha. And I'm telling you what, they almost made an outstanding play right here. How about that backdoor slide by Zubia?
Designated hitter now in for Texas. Or excuse me, a pinch hitter. It's going to be Duke Ellis. Ellis coming in with runners on first and third. Texas back on a roll here. Seems like once they get hot, it's tough to slow them down. And here comes Rob Childress. He's going to go to the bullpen. Sherrod not exactly happy. So Texas is threatening here in the top of the 7th with runners on the corners and 1 out. Sherrod's day is over. The go-ahead run is coming up to the plate in Duke Ellis. Don't leave us now. We got a good one at Olsen Field.
I've got a name, I've got a name. Moving ahead so life won't pass me by.
Those who live up to their names make one for themselves. Goodyear, more driven.
Napoleon is duping us. We can't afford this with our train. You're an nincompoop.
Gentlemen, I have just received word. The Louisiana Purchase is complete.
Instant purchase notifications from Capital One, so you won't miss a purchase. Large, small, or very large. Technology this helpful could make history.
What's in your wallet?
We got a ball game here, folks. Top of the 7th inning. Asa Lacy has now checked in from the left-hand side with runners on the corners and 1 out. Lacy, another big body out of the Aggie bullpen, 6'4", 180, a freshman. Ben, that looks like they just kind of make these guys in waves.
Yeah, and you talk about big arms, too. 14 2/3. How about 19 strikeouts for Lacy on the season?
He's going to want a couple of those Ks here.
Well, I think that's why Rob Childress brings him in this situation. You would love to have a strikeout in this situation. Ground ball double play works, too.
Zubia on third, Reynolds on first, and Duke Ellis at the plate. Big swing and a miss. Lefty on lefty, too. Ellis out of Nacogdoches, Texas. I say that right? Nacogdoches, that's right.
That's right.
See, I know my southern states.
Yeah, you
You're
did
giving me
good
a hard
on that
time
one.
about Baton Rouge. Oh, 1 to Ellis. High and tight.
And you'll see Lace's fastball up to 93 miles an hour, so he's 86 to 93. Show you a breaking ball and changeup too.
Ellis does have 1 home run on the season. Asa trying to let that not happen. Good pitch right there at 89 miles an hour.
Yeah, and that's the one you wanted right there, the straight one. I know it's a tough matchup, lefty on lefty, but that's a fastball you got to find a piece of right there. Now you're going to get in the breaking ball count or expand the count type of pitch, and that's when it really gets tough.
Yeah, this is a huge, huge pitch and out if it can be secured. There it is. Asa Lacy, 1 batter, 1 strikeout.
Yeah, that ball had a little heat to it. I know the radar gun only said 87. It sure looked a lot harder than that. Again, Lacy gets ahead and throws the fastball right by Ellis. You can see it right there. The ball was in the glove. And again, that's when you get in plus counts for the pitcher. Pitcher counts. you create a little bit of doubt, whether the breaking ball, the all-speed pitch is coming, or the fastball is coming. And when you do, and you throw an extra fastball, you can get them right by him.
Got to be able to breathe just a little bit more after that out. And with 2 gone, it's DJ Petrinsky, the catcher, up at the plate. Petrinsky 1 for 3 today. He swings at the first pitch and fouls it up into the 12th man. .250 average on the year. 11 RBIs. He is the go-ahead run. It does have 3 home runs. Lacy with the 0-1. Right in on the hands. 92.
That's more like it. That's a big arm, especially from the left side. And it's been all, here it is, hit it from Asa Lacy. My best against yours, and Lacy's been better so far.
He struck out Ellis. He's got an 0-2 count here. This ball's drilled out to left field. Going back, the wind's holding it up for Foster, and he makes the catch. A&M able to avoid disaster. They lead 6-4 as we head to the bottom of the 7th.
So what do you want to eat?
Pizza. Pizza. Yelp? There's pizza on Yelp, right?
The past is the past. The last trophy, the last season, the last hole, the last shot. They don't matter. The only thing that matters is being the best I can be right here, right now.
Station Aggies up 6-4. Check out this last pitch. You can see the catcher, Bedford Warren, up in the zone, but Lacy threw it right down the middle, and that's the difference of being ahead in the count as a pitcher, because sometimes you can get away with mistakes when you're not in predictable counts, and that was certainly one of those situations.
He just missed that one. Check this out. A couple of games ongoing right now. Look down in the bottom left there. Grambling State 6. Number 3 Arkansas 3. What's going on there?
Yeah. You know, it's so hard, you know, in the SEC, you get up so big for the weekend games because they're huge. Seems like you're always playing a ranked opponent, and you tend to overlook some teams that you probably should handle pretty well, and that's certainly what's going on with Grambling State over Arkansas right now, 6-3. A little bit of surprise there. Ole Miss really putting it on Southern Miss, who's a very good team. Good win for Georgia. You see 6-3 over 8th-ranked Clemson.
New pitcher on the mound now, Andy McGuire. 6'1", 210. Junior out of Oakton, Virginia. This is the 7th pitcher used by the Longhorns tonight. You tend to see this too in midweek games. You're using a lot of bullpen guys.
Yeah, because you got to keep your regular guys sharp, and that's kind of what the midweek is used for too. Of course, you want to win the ball game. That's what you're trying to do, but also you're also preparing for the weekend. And some guys that didn't get much action on the weekend, you want to make sure they're tuned up and ready to go, so they always get a little action in the midweek games.
Count is 1-0. To Cole Bedford. Quick motion and delivery from McGuire. A couple of changes here. Hibbler has moved out from left field into first base. McKenzie was pinch hit for by Ellis, who has entered left field. Ball fought off over to second base. Clemens has it. He will throw to Hibbler. And there's one gone. Yeah, there's Duke Ellis. Has been able to play center field, can patrol the outfield. He came in a pinch hit for McKenzie, so he's out in left. Hibbler over to first. First pitch to Deloche is in there at 90 miles an hour for strike one.
Yeah, McGuire's the guy that changed arm slots back in the fall. Wasn't having a lot of success in his normal slot, so he dropped it down a little bit and sped up the motion just a tick, and he's been pretty effective from a low 3/4 type slot.
And that was something Coach Pierce was pretty adamant about. He said, look, we're going to change this, and that's just kind of the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, some guys, listen, you hate to change it up and change your slot and your rhythm and everything, but it's about having success. And if you're not having success at that level, almost gets to the point where you have to change it to try to have success. You hate to go drastic changes, but sometimes it works.
Slow roller back to McGuire. An easy toss over to first. 2 up, 2 down.
Don't forget, over on the Texas A&M side, Nolan Hoffman did the same thing. He changed arm slots too. Rob Childress pretty much told him the same thing as well. Listen, in order to have success, I think this is what we probably need to do. And boy, it's worked out for Hoffman in a big way. He is the closer for Texas A&M. Got 4 saves.
The Texas pitching staff has not worked a 1-2-3 inning all game. They're going to have to get George Yoncha out to do that. He's 0 for 3 tonight. Good pitch right there. That just disappeared.
Yeah, it's got some deception to it because it's a low 3/4 slot, so he'll be extra tough on righties. But watch the ball. Almost looks like a wiffle ball, this 2-seam fastball. You see the downward action? That's not a breaking ball or a split finger. That's a 2-seam fastball. There it is again.
McGuire's come in, and he's done something that Texas has had some problems doing. Throw strikes. Got him to chase there. My goodness. 1-2-3 inning for Andy McGuire. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night.
Yeah, that was quick, fast, and hurry. A couple of 2-seamers in, and how about this? The little frisbee going away. Boy, you can see McGuire pumped up. A&M still up over the Longhorns.
We are the TV doctors of America, and we may not know much about medicine, but we know a lot about drama. We also know that you can avoid drama by getting an annual checkup.
So go, know, and take control of your health.
It could save your life.
Cigna, together all the way.
I realize that $100,000 is not exactly a fortune.
103.
103. Okay. Well, let me ask you guys, how long did it take you two to save that?
Oh, a long time.
Long time.
Then it's a fortune.
Well, I'm sure you talk to people all the time who think $100,000 is just pocket change.
Right now, we're just talking to you.
I told you we had a fortune.
Yes, you did.
Getting closer to your investment goals starts with a conversation. Schedule a complimentary goal planning session today.
In College Station, alongside former LSU fireball thrower Ben McDonald, I'm Sam Ravitch. Thanks for joining us here on the SEC Network. It's coming down to the wire like it, should. 6-4. Here's your game summary. 7 pitchers used for Texas, 5 for A&M. 286 pitches, now 87. A lot of pitchers and pitches used in this game.
Yeah, trainers will be getting the ice bags out tonight.
Austin Todd drives one down the right field line. That's going to get... Oh, you got to make that play. Be hearing about that one.
See, what had happened was, that's what he's telling him. He's in pretty good position right here, but just kind of clanks it at the last second, huh?
Got to catch it like an egg.
Oof. Most hitters are taught to wait a little bit when they get 2 strikes on them. Well, when you wait a little bit, it makes you very susceptible to the fastball on the inside part of the plate. Boy, you can see the catcher, Bedford, rocks right in there. And how about that? Knocking some paint off the inside corner. You want to wait a little bit with 2 strikes, see it deep, but no chance on that ball. He punches him out.
Austin Todd not happy with that. He draws the line and he gets tossed.
Yeah.
Not a good look.
That's one of the things that will get you tossed right there, drawing the line.
Yeah, you can't be doing that.
Yeah, and Todd's got a point. I mean, that really, you know, the zone's been kind of small. That ball was clearly a ball or 2 off the inside part of the play, but it's like we talked about. If you can hit the glove at the college level and you really peg it, you're going to get the call a lot of times. But all in all, that's something you can't do.
Austin Todd ejected, drawing the line. Now it's the top of the order, and Tate Shaw fouls that one off. It's 1-1. Well, no matter the situation, right or wrong, it's a 6-4 game, top of the 8th. That's a tough thing to lose there.
Well, you got to be able to control your emotions because, I mean, baseball is a game, as we all know, that's built on failure. I mean, the best guys in the world fail 70% of the time when they step into that batter's box. So you got to be able to control your emotions, especially in a big ball game.
Grounded back up the middle. Shoemake not in time. There's been a couple of tough plays up the middle. Both of these teams have athletic bodies. At second and shortstop, there's Shoemake.
You're right. The majority of the hits tonight seem like they've gone right over the top of the second base bag. Shoemake ranges way to his left. Strong throw, but I tell you what, not in time to get Tate Shaw. One thing you know about Shoemake now after watching him tonight, he's got some range. We've seen him go both ways to make plays.
The 2017 Collegiate Baseball Freshman of the Year, and that was unanimous. So we're going to have another pitching change here. A lot of pitchers used in this one. 6-4 Aggies lead. We'll be back after this. And we're back in College Station. New pitcher on the mound for the Aggies is the closer, Nolan Hoffman, coming in, possibly to get a 5-out save here. Has not thrown over 35 pitches this year, Ben, but you want to win, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Rob Childress bringing in his guy with 5 outs, and you got to think he's going to try to get a 5-out save. And I tell you what, Nolan Hoffman's an outstanding story. If you go back to the fall, out of 16 pitchers, Coach Childress was telling us he finished 16th in the evaluations as far as being effective back there in the fall. So drastic changes were made. Dropped Nolan Hoffman down to a low 3/4 type slot, and he has been lights out for the Aggies since then. But it's a different kind of fastball from there. Normally you see guys throw in the mid-80s. Well, Hoffman's going to run it up 87 to 92, and that's the difference maker for him from down there. There he is, 92, right on the nose. And so some deception there. It's got some sink and some movement, and it's got a little giddy up to it on top of that.
That thing will come back in on the hands of a pitcher if you give it inside. He's going to have to face the tough part of this order. Hibbler, Clemens, and Zubia, if they get to it. They might not. This could be two. Shoemake back to first. Not in time. Just a little bit late on that turn. They've done that a couple times.
Yeah, just a millisecond too slow. Ball not hit very hard. You see Hellman with a flip over to Shoemake, quickly grabs it and across the diamond, but not in time. And I tell you what, the first base umpire, Michael Banks, has had some tough calls tonight.
He was safe there, but awfully close. Tying run at the plate, Cody Clemens. He can change this game with one swing of the bat.
Not on that ball he won. It seems like Texas A&M's game plan on how to pitch Cody Clemens is wear out the outside part of the plate. Not going to leave the yard out there. Now, he's shown you he can get a base hit. He got a big base hit in the middle part of the game to score a couple runs, but right out there has kind of been the weak spot. Oh, 2 count. You've thrown 2 right on the corner. You got to think you go back out there again, but maybe about 6 inches off the outside corner for this one.
Might go back there again. Throw down to second. That almost got over the head of Hellman.
That's one of those stolen bases you better be sure you can get there with 2 out. Because I got my best hitter at the plate, and he can change the game in one swing. He can tie this up. So as a base runner, you got to make sure you can get there.
Got a good jump. 9 home runs for Clemens this year. Fouls that one off. It stays 1-2. This is a tough pitch to hit out of the park, though. That diving two-seam fastball that's just tailing away from a left-hander.
It's almost got to be a mistake, because if he throws it out there where he threw the first 2 to get strikes, you're not leaving the yard in that situation. You may hit it down the third base line. You may hit it a bloop out to left field for a base hit, but you're not leaving the yard.
Clemens took one the other way in the 5th. And he pulls this one through the hole between first and second. Rounding third, heading for a home is Hibbler. He will score 6-5 on an RBI from Clemens.
Cody Clemens continues to hit mistakes. You can see the catcher Bedford wanted that ball in the inside part of the plate. He had rocked all the way to the inside. It's a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Stay out of the middle of the plate. Hoffman unable to do it, and Cody Clemens continues to make pitchers pay for making mistakes.
Now the tying run is on first base with Clemens and Zubia at the plate.
So a big stolen base by Mason Hibbler, getting into scoring position. Cody Clemens drives him in.
Zubia 1 for 2 today. You know, Ben, for as many pitchers that we have seen so far this game, nobody has really gotten a hold of anyone. I've seen a couple of hard hit balls on the ground back up the middle, but nobody really threatening with the long ball. Tough park to hit one in, though.
Well, if Texas can't come back and look at this game, they'll look at the walks their pitchers gave up. Their pitchers have walked 6. 4 of those 6 have come around to score. Because you're right, it hadn't been a lot of balls just blistered by either team. It's been timely hitting, some walks mixed in there.
3-0. Now that has been called. Tonight we have seen that called. Did not get the call there. So here comes Coach Childress. "13 pitchers used between these two teams." It's an awful lot of pitchers.
Yeah, it is. You know, and again, it's a fine line you walk between using the guys that you want to use and getting work in for guys trying to win the ball game, which everybody's trying to do, but also saving some guys to be ready to go for SEC play on Thursday night.
Now, what's he getting told right now?
It looked like a little bit of a chewing to me, saying, hey, your stuff's too good. Let's get back in the strike zone. Let's make our pitches. You're facing a guy coming to the plate, and David Hamilton, who's hitting below 250. I want you to make some quality pitches on the outside part of the plate and get you a ground ball. Let's get out of here.
Well, he's going to try to do just that with 2 outs, runners on first and second. Texas trailing by 1.
Hoffman's game is ground balls. That two-seam sinking fastball he runs down and away from the left-handed hitters has been his money pitch all year long.
That's slashed into left field. They're going to hold the runner at third base, and the bases will be loaded. Now that might have been a mistake, leaving that ball right down the middle for Hamilton.
Well, Hoffman was pretty good the first couple of batters, but again, he's trying to sink this ball down the way. The ball's sitting thigh high, up, out, over the plate. So a little bit of spot's been missing. Cody Clemens, he had Clemens down 1 ball and 2 strikes and tried to come inside on the inside corner and didn't quite get it there.
Head coach Pierce out there having a word with the home plate umpire. Doesn't look very happy.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on here. Is he going to
trying to make a change, it looks like.
Pinch runner maybe? Maybe get a little bit more speed at second base.
Number 43 will pinch hit, or excuse me, pinch run here. Trying to get some more speed on the base paths. That is Andy McGuire, who was just on the mound for the Longhorns. Now in to run. Everybody's doing it all this game. All hands on deck. Bases loaded situation. 6-5 is your score. Ryan Reynolds up at the plate with a chance to give the Longhorns their first lead or tie it up. Texas 5 for 12 with runners in scoring position tonight. Ryan had an RBI single in his last at bat. Blown by Reynolds.
Yeah. And with some movement too, and you can see Hoffman's on the mound talking to himself. There he is. As long as he doesn't start answering himself, I'm okay with that. Talking to yourself's one thing. Answering yourself's a totally different.
Pumping himself up out there. 1-1 count. He exhales and throws inside. For ball 2.
Well, he's made the adjustment. He's back down in the lower part of the strike zone where he lives. He read his lips there. I need to focus.
Yeah.
Focus.
He's really jawing at himself.
Well, that's a tough pitch. Looked like ball 3, but man, it starts in the middle of the plate. You think it's a strike, you go to get it, and it's moving. It looks like it's moving a good 12 inches.
I think he knows what he's going to here. What's been working?
That's pretty much all he's thrown since coming in, is that good, hard, two-seam, sinking type fastball.
Here's a 2-2. Got a piece of it, back up the middle. He gloves it and throws to first, and Olsen Field is going insane. Aggies get out of another jam. They hold the lead 6-5 as we head to the bottom of the 8th.
Geico Motorcycle. Great rates for great rides.
I wish I could wake up and say hi to a giraffe. Ride a train in the sky. And visit faraway galaxies.
When you stay at a Disney Resort hotel, all your wishes come true. From being in the middle of the magic to extra time in the park.
And now, you can save up to 25% on rooms at select Walt Disney World Resort hotels.
Imagine the magic of staying here.
Bottom of the 8th, we go. The Aggies have gotten themselves out of 2 bases loaded situations. And that guy, the closer right there, did it most recently. Man, that was an impressive feat. He was talking to himself on the mound.
Yeah, he keeps himself pumped up.
I was saying, I've seen pitchers talk to themselves before, but man, he looked like he was yelling at himself.
Yeah, he brings it to a whole different level. But hey, whatever works for you.
It hasn't been for the lack of chances for this Texas team. They've had their chances, and they've hit fairly well with runners in scoring position, but just haven't been able to catch that lead yet. 6-5. The Aggies lead in the bottom of the 8th. Then he's got to come out for the top of the 9th, right?
I would think so, because if not, I mean, you look what's left down in the bullpen for Texas A&M. You're going to start, I mean, there's still some good arms down there, but you've used your 4 main guys, the guys you count on most. Yep, 9:43, just on time. And letting everybody know it, too.
Good first pitch, catches the outside corner for strike 1. Cam Blake 1 for 3 today. Again, Blake missed essentially the first half of this season. A couple of more changes now. Hibbler has gone out to left field. Again, Petrinsky back at first base. This ball's lined into right field for a leadoff single. Ellis has moved over to right field. And McCann is now catching. Wholesale changes. And all of those because Todd was ejected from the game. Keep in mind, you wouldn't have to do that if Todd had not gotten ejected. Todd was out in right field, so Ellis moves over to take his spot. Top of the order is Hellman. The Aggies would sure like to tack on a couple more runs of insurance for their closer.
Yeah, one of the few times this year you've not seen Michael Hellman with a base hit. I tell you what, he has been outstanding for Texas A&M. Michael Hellman hit .487 with 17 home runs and 73 RBIs last year in junior college. Junior College Player of the Year. Hellman's bunted once. I'm surprised he's not bunting in this situation. Trying to get a little insurance run for Texas A&M.
Good two-seamer in on the hands of Hellman.
Remember, you got Logan Foster on deck. Came in hitting .319 with 6 homers, and then Brandon Shoemake behind him.
Here the Andy chance from the 12th man. Hellman lays off that one. Good block behind home plate. Remember, that's now McCann back there. Petrinsky has moved over to first base.
This is tough to do coming right off the bench. See, the new catcher McCann keeps it in front, keeps the runner at first base.
That would have been a runner in scoring position with nobody out.
Yeah.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Hellman. Filthy pitch. Tough to lay off that one. Hellman goes down swinging. He's striking out twice tonight.
Yeah, you know you got good stuff when you make Hellman look like this. Couple of two-seamers in and that little frisbee breaking ball going away. And Hellman, no chance of making contact on that one.
Tough night for Hellman. The only time he's been on base was in the 6th inning. He walked. Does not have a base hit tonight. Logan Foster now up at the plate as a check on Cam Blake, who's still over there at first. Count to Foster. Top of this order for the Aggies is usually what carries this offense, but between Hellman and Foster, just 1 base hit tonight. They have, however, walked 3 times. There's been no shortage of walks tonight.
You mentioned in the open the last 2 times these teams met at 1-run games, and here we are again. Bottom of the 8th in a 1-run game.
As if it wasn't predictable. (2-0). Catches a piece of the plate for strike 1. The Aggie faithful will not relent. That hit him. Right in on the ribs. Foster takes a long look at Andy there.
And that was not a glancing blow at all. You could hear the thump. Watch this two-seamer bore right inside it. I mean, right in the ribs. That hurt. Did you hear that thump?
That did not feel good.
Do you mark there in the morning?
So now runners on first and second, and it's Shoemake. The heart of the Aggie order now coming up. Might have hit him. It's awfully close.
Come on, Kevin!
Yeah, all of a sudden, McGuire having control issues. He's been pretty good. Spotting that two-seamer down and away.
Over to first base. That's going to move the runners up. Fielder's choice, 3 unassisted. Cam Blake up to third. Foster up to second. And now it's Hunter Coleman.
Yeah, if Texas is going to have any shot at all, McGuire's got to find a way to navigate through this bottom of the 8th inning. You give up a base hit here and you go down 3. It makes it awfully tough to come back.
Coleman was tough to strike out this entire game. Of course, his last at-bat was that 2-run RBI double. Excuse me, the single brought in 2 runs to make it 6-4. Second and third, 2 outs. Check swing, he held up on it. Right down Broadway. Well, that's been 1-run games each of the past 2 years. No different here. 369th meeting between these two teams. Who will hold the Lone Star State flag tonight? We'll find out coming up next.
Geico Motorcycle. Great rates for great rides.
Think about it. There must be a higher love down in the heart, hidden in the stars above. Without it, life is wasted time. Look inside your heart. Look inside.
Thanks, babe.
Introducing the first ever Hyundai Kona with Blue Link.
Very funny.
Life on Earth just got a little more intelligent.
March 15, 2016 is where the rivalry really started. Barish, the walk-off home run. A couple of Aggies would put the Horns down. Not too friendly. A year later, A&M got the tying run to third. Couldn't get it across the plate. They would fall to the Longhorns. They get a little redemption, winning 4-3. Different story here. 6-5 is the score. Top of the 9th inning alongside Ben McDonald. I'm Sam Ravitch. Well, it doesn't really get much better than this. 2 blue bloods in college baseball battling it out in the 369th meeting at Olsen Field, one of the best venues in all of college baseball.
And that's been a good one. A&M jumped out way on top early, and Texas kept pecking away.
Coach Childress is going to stick with their man Hoffman, trying to work a 5-out save. And the first pitch to Duke Ellis is in there for a called strike. Chopped over to second base. Easy play for Hellman, and there's one gone. Now this is where the ejection comes back to hurt you. Austin Todd was slated to be the number 3 batter in this inning. It's now going to be Michael McCann coming in cold off the bench. Man, that's tough to do.
Tough to do. But you look at it as an opportunity, too, for that young man.
Here's Petrinsky. One for 4 tonight with a single. Hoffman and company trying to close it out in the top of the 9th. Oof. Just missing a little bit high and outside.
Yeah, and Hoffman really talking to himself now. He thought that was a strike. Didn't get the call.
One. Popped up. Foul territory. No play can be made by Hellman.
Yeah, how about the effort by Hellman? I'm talking about didn't slow down much at all going after that ball, knowing the wall and the fence was there. You see him check it one time, lunges out, hoping he can get to it, and just runs out of room. You don't think he wants to win this game?
One ball, 2 strikes to Petrinsky. Might have slipped out of his hand there. He's even coaching himself out there. He's saying, I got to follow through. I got to finish my pitch. 2-2. Grounded back up the middle. Shoemake. Easy play for him. 2 gone.
That's Hoffman's game right there. That sinking fastball. When it's on, he's creating a lot of ground balls. He's got 2 of them in this inning. There's a lot going on there.
He's making me nervous. Michael McCann with his first at-bat tonight. Comes with 2 outs in the top of the 9th inning. The last hopes for the Longhorns. .194 average on the year. Has not played all that much. He's been the backup catcher for Texas most of this season.
That ball's got so much sink, so much movement on it. A guy like Bedford that catches Hoffman all the time, he can't even come up with it.
One ball, 2 strikes. Grounded over to third base. And Texas A&M will hoist the Lone Star flag tonight. Well, 1-run games, Ben, the last 3 years now. It's flip-flopped. A&M in 2016, Texas in 2017, and here in 2018. It's A&M at Olsen Field.
Didn't expect anything else from these two teams. You knew it would be a good one. Both of these teams playing very well coming in. Now they got to focus on the weekend. A&M host Alabama, and of course, Texas headed to Oklahoma. A showdown between 1 and 2 in the Big 12 Conference.
Your winning pitcher tonight is Kaysen Sherrod. 2-1 on the year. O'Donnell picks up the loss. Hoffman gets his 5th save of the season. Just under 4 hours it took us tonight. 6-5 is our final score. Texas A&M hosts Alabama next on Thursday at 9 Eastern on ESPNU. A&M 6-5 is the final score. For our entire crew here, Sam Ravitch, Ben McDonald saying so long